boys. It's the only thing I claim dominion over. All right, so I don't know. Best friends beat Private Party in a tag team match. All right, cool, whatever.
Yeah, solid stuff. I mean, it went to the, private parties, still developing, still, honing, who they are and what they do. Best friends are established. Um, yeah, they've been through more wars. They've been to, several dances, and they caught them. So
Yeah,
solid opener.
it existed. It's fine. I will say
Mhm.
this: I don't think I'll ever be able to get into AEW full time until they get rid of Excalibur on commentary. You don't need to fire the guy, but like make him in charge of catering or like put him in the men's
No,
room so he's an attendant, but he needs to not be on commentary. I can't
I'm
stand
glad
him.
I'm glad you brought it up. And every time I see him, the first thing I think about is you. Because I'm like, why is he pissing my boy off this week? But he exists. That's why he's pissing me off. He exists. But I was thinking about that, and I did think he's blended better on commentary. And more often than not, it's been when he's pulled back a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But it has become blatantly obvious that JR and Tony, as Jericho would call him, Tony Schiavone,
Schiavone.
work Schiavone work perfectly together. They don't necessarily need a third. They played. I think they found a great rhythm. Jr. is very much found the groove and seems like he's having fun with the product now instead of,
Mm-hmm.
he a good mix of critiquing when it's necessary, but also acknowledging, what it is, what it's still becoming, and enjoying it more. But yeah, they don't necessarily need Excalibur on commentary, but I do think he's done a lot better with fitting into that triple dynamic, if you will.
He did seem more reserved tonight. I don't know if that's just a tonight thing because, like I said, I don't watch a lot of Dynamite, so I
Yeah,
don't really have a baseline to measure this against. Jim Ross did
yeah.
feel to be the most pronounced voice of the commentary, and sometimes I feel like he lost his points at times. I at one point during the Luke Harper Dean Ambrose, oh god, sorry, John Moxley match. Uh, I called him Luke Harper, didn't I? I meant
I'll just add it to my Magnus pile, man.
I'm a dumbass. The John Moxley Brody Lee match. Brody Lee was slapping the shit out of John Moxley, and Jim Ross was trying to correlate. One of the things that Brody Lee had gotten from his time in Japan was the ability to, really develop those open-handed slaps. But he said the Asian wrestlers have really great open-hand slaps, and we're like, all right, where's the rest of that point? I knew what he was going at. Brody Lee spent a lot of time in Japan. Brody Lee has learned to adapt the Japanese style to his particular skill set. Jim Ross did a very piss poor job of explaining that. But that's just a rare example of what I mean by sometimes he loses his point. Tony Schiavone, on the other hand, I am in love with as a commentator, but it's not because of AEW. I've been in love with him since he returned to MLW, which was like 2 years ago. I've thought that he's clearly whatever, because he was in WWF right about the same time Jim Ross was in WCW. I think they essentially took each other's jobs. They may have had like a month or two overlap, maybe even like a year overlap together in WWE, but they were essentially like the opposites of one another. Schiavone was with the WWE and Ross was with WCW at the time. So seeing them together now is hilarious. But since Schiavone was in WCW, that's really what I remember him as a kid and as a youngster. I never really liked him. I was always a very big fan of Mike Tenay and Bobby Heenan and the late great Lee Marshall. So hearing him now, I clearly know that something similar to how the WWE operated was going on with WCW in terms of how they were conducting their announcers. And to hear Shivani nowadays is like night and day to how he was back then, where he was just like, "Oh, what a big move!" And you're like, "Put Mike Tenay back on." But now he seems much more ingrained. He's a minor league baseball announcer. And you can definitely get that kind of structure from him, like the way he calls the match, the way he tells the story is very authentic to the way a sportscaster is supposed to do it. And I find that very enjoyable because, as anyone who's ever listened to this show knows, I'm a big fan of the sport and the sport presentation in wrestling. So, yeah.
when which is going to get off into depth when we get off into that last match. But yeah, I mean, Skiavone is great. Um, and it's funny, like it's definitely interesting, like trying to see three people find that unique chemistry and flow that you need to make something, like three men on commentary work. Because obviously it's the baseline of color and then play by play.
Mm-hmm.
But then you add that third man, you got to find a unique mix. So, I mean, what's definitely apparent is both of them have nothing but high respect for JR, and they very much try to kind of give him the leeway.
Mm-hmm.
It's also been interesting, like JR kind of um, just kind of letting loose a little bit more and going along with the jokes and enjoying that back and forth, a little bit more. Like it's always fun, like watching JR make a point, and obviously he can't not necessarily like go laugh, bust out and go to laughing or whatever, or make a face because obviously he has Bell's palsy, but like him cracking um Skillbone or I'm about to call him Delirious, but
Might as well be. White dude in a mask that we can't see the eyes of. I mean, it basically is the same person.
cracking them both up. It's funny because JR is very much like the straight man a lot of times to a lot of comedic moments, like specifically when it got to the Sean Spears segment. He was like, all right, let's get off my ass now. Like it was like it's fun. It's fun. But like I said, it's been cool to see, JR just kind of lighten up a little bit because at the end of the day, if you're not having fun, then it's really no point. And JR is at his best when he's having fun and he's interjecting that classic JR commentary that's made so many moments in wrestling, even more than what they were in that ring.
So moving on to the casino ladder match, I missed like the first 10 minutes of this. I don't know when Brian Cage showed up. Did he just come in midway through the match?
He was they had like I think it was like 8 men or something like that, and there
Mm-hmm.
was a mystery number, and he was the mystery number, and Taz came out and introduced it.
So they came out like
Bec-
one by one over the course of the match.
yeah, they did. It was basically like the Rumble thing where they came out doing a timer.
Okay, that's
So
what I
yeah, one by
thought happened.
yeah,
But
yeah.
but I missed the
Uh,
first couple minutes.
yeah, in terms of the match, it was solid. I mean, once I found out Phoenix got replaced by freaking Joey Janela, I completely tuned out. Um, and basically, what am I looking for? The casket guy. Well, I can't think of his
Darby
name.
Allin.
Um, yeah, Darby. Because I've been liking a lot of his stuff more. Once he kind of checked out early, I think he did a spot where he went off top of a ladder and came down on somebody else on another one with a skateboard that kind of took him out early, and then I think Cage came out and handled him. So I was only like rooting between like him or Phoenix. So once Phoenix, I was like, okay, well that's gonna be a lot of the excitement of this match gone. And then Cage came out, and it was a pleasant surprise to see, just Cage back in general. But I do think they went with the right decision putting it on him because he's an immediate threat for Moxley.
Mm-hmm.
But the match was what it was. Thankfully, nobody, I don't think, seriously got hurt. Hopefully, because you know, that stuff that happened on the last episode of Dynamite with those dives, which I think put Phoenix out of this match. So yeah, the match was okay.
I'm very over the idea of having a car crash match on every major
Yeah,
show. I don't get it. I don't think you need it. I think it's a crutch, and I don't think it really exists to serve a purpose anymore. So the match didn't land with me at all. I most of the roster on this match I didn't really care for. Like I like Kazarian, he's fine, but he's like 102, and he needs to not be doing big bumps anymore. Luchasaurus is
yeah.
fine, but he's not someone I'm ever going to take seriously because his name is Luchasaurus and he has a green face. Like, bitch, unless you name Muda, I don't think you're scary.
Yeah.
Joey Janela looked like he was some drunk fan that they pulled from the audience to fill in for Phoenix. So, like, that's fun. Colt Cabana's fine, but he's, putting Colt Cabana in the ladder match is like when Ric Flair was in the 2006 Money in the Bank at WrestleMania. Like, we all like him. Most of us do. I forgot Marcus doesn't. But, like, putting Flair in a ladder match makes no sense. Putting Cabana in a ladder match makes no fucking sense.
that was such a great example. So much so I forgot he was in a Money in the Bank,
Right?
which
Everyone does.
really which really sums that up. Like, what the freak are you putting Ric Flair? Yeah, but I mean, it's right. I'm right there with you, man. I just didn't like a lot of the guys in this match, which made me didn't care. Like I said, I'm either rooting for Darby or Phoenix. Mostly, a lot of it has to do with the crazy stuff that they do. One guy's trying to kill himself, and the other guy's trying to kill other people, and probably going to kill himself in the process. Unfortunately, so like you said, the car crash element can be dialed back, and it probably should be more reserved to like these deeper feuds.
Hmm.
But I get it. They're kind of it's a thing, but it can get old quick. And I think it has.
I mean, I knew Kip Sabian was going to win this because even though I don't watch the show, I know Kip Sabian's gotten dick all in terms of promotion. Like, did anyone really think Kip Sabian was going to walk out with the fucking giant coin? What the fuck was that
Yeah.
even? A fucking gambling chip? Really? Y'all are going too hard into the gimmick.
And you only want to see Kip Sabian for one reason.
Yeah, and we got to see her later on anyway. We didn't even need to see the fucking match to see her. Like, come on. So, I've always been kind of lukewarm on Brian Cage. He's one of those guys that when he was in Impact, I thought he was going to be a lot more impressive than he was. I don't think he was all that impressive in Impact. His stuff with Lucha Underground was kind of lame. He had, like, the claw. Like, really? Like, we're going that hard into him being Wolverine. We got to give him a fucking claw now? All right, whatever. But he's a great worker. I just think he has the personality of a slug. Like, a wet sponge is more interesting to me than a Brian Cage promo. And that's always been his biggest hang-up. Now, in Impact, you could always kind of hope for him being involved with Melissa Santos, his real life. Are they married yet, or are they still engaged?
Yeah, they're married.
His real life wife, like that'd be fine. And now in AEW, he's got Taz to be his mouthpiece, hopefully. So like that should help, alleviate some of the menage, the macabre, the just blah of a Brian Cage promo. Like, no, thank you. Your promos are the auditory version of the color beige. We're good.
This is another funny point because when in terms of his mic stuff, I thought like the best stuff that he did in Impact was with his feud with Sammy, but that had more to do with the intensity that he brought out of him.
Mm-hmm.
Other stuff on the mic, but it felt more real because he was. I mean, even if it's all, staged. Somebody talking or coming at your wife or they're bringing up your newborn is going to elicit some real reaction. So, because you can literally pull from it. So, but yeah, like you said, he's not exactly blowing up the mic. I mean, even as much as we're not necessarily Elgin fans, he's solid on the mic, man.
Yeah, Elgin can cut a decent promo, especially that Ali one that he cut last week, or this week, whatever one, the one that he cut right before he beat Sammy. He was solid with that. The other issue I always had with Cage is he should be booked like Goldberg, just like John Cena. He should have been booked like Goldberg, but instead you book him like he's Rob Van Dam, and it doesn't make any sense because he's not that athletic. He's just very confident in his big move selections. So everyone thinks, oh, let's do the flippies with Cage. And I'm just like, y'all know he's going to kill himself, right? Like, he doesn't have the ability and the body control to land safely from some of these big moves. Case in point, he broke his goddamn spine. He broke he cracked a vertebrae in his spine, I think it was a vertebrae in his spinal column. So, like, what exactly do you want from this man? No, it was his neck. He broke a vertebrae in his neck, I think. But like, what exactly do you want from this guy? Like, what's his shtick?
It's interesting. It almost comes off like maybe like he's one of those situations where like he's a Dave Bautista in the Guardians and he kind of needs a James Gunn to kind of hone him a little bit in a certain direction to make it all work.
Yes, I 100% agree.
And because in my mind, it's like when you talk about the Wolverine stuff, obviously he's a huge nerd, and we here certainly appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
But I very much, clearly those are decisions he's making. Like I feel like to him, if he's not doing a 619 or a flipping like pulling off like a reverse 450 or something like that, he feels like he's probably not using his arsenal to the fullest of his ability. But to your point, less is more.
Mm-hmm.
And because he's so big, and oftentimes, and guys like JR and even Taz bring this up, when you're that big and you have that much muscle mass and density, when you get hurt, it oftentimes is worse
Mm-hmm.
because like you said, all that density and half of his title run in Impact, he was banged up.
Yeah.
So if not for damn near all of it, it felt like. So yeah, I mean, I think like you said, dialing back less is more, almost going back to some of the stuff he did in Lucha when he came off kind of more robotic. Like being controlled by a demon and possessed glove or something.
Brian Cage should not have matches longer than 5 minutes. Brian Cage should never have matches longer than 5 minutes unless it's a pay-per-view main event for the title. It's just not believable. The other thing that really kind of irks me about Cage is that maybe in 2012 he was unique to be a big guy who did all the stunts. But 8 years later, every big guy does it now. It's not impressive. You don't stand out anymore. And I think that's kind of where a lot of modern day wrestling fans and modern day bookers kind of lose the plot, because it's not about how cool you can look in a match. It's about how convincing you can be to the audience. If Brian Cage showed up, rolled everyone in 4 seconds, and then took the damn, whatever it was, coin, holy shit, now everyone's like, Brian Cage is legit. Look at the fact that he just rolled everyone in fucking 28 seconds. But instead, he just didn't do that, and he spent like 12 minutes underneath a giant coin because apparently there's coins everywhere, big giant fucking casino chips. Like, whatever, fuck. This is why I don't watch the product.
We gambling, Margo. We gambling.
I will say this: I did kind of pop for the Nyla Rose always bet on black.
Oh,
I thought that was funny.
I can't wait till we get to that, because she I've really enjoyed watching her kind of come on to
Her opening portion of her theme song needs to go, because holy hell, I've mentioned this before. I'm very auditory. Like, certain things will hit my eardrums just right or just wrong that will turn me on or turn me off forever on something. And her opening theme song was excruciating. I was like, ugh,
yeah.
No, change that.
It's like how I am in intimate moments with smells. Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta.
Yes, certain scents will hit you just right.
Certain things to throw the whole vibe on, and I mean, I think that I get it because of the whole beast thing, but it is very off-putting because it's one of those pauses that you're never ready for it.
Nope.
So.
No. Like, if you did like a Taz intro where it's like dun dun dun, and like you ramped up to it, okay, maybe, but no, it just starts. You're like, what the fuck? Not okay. Speaking of not okay, I never want to see another 17-minute match with MJF again in my life. Like, Jungle Boy is cool. I dig the Jungle Boy. He cool little gimmick.
Yeah.
I think his look needs to be spiced up a bit. We talk about this all the time in Impact. Like, certain guys just need like an extra thing to their personality, like a certain wardrobe change. Like, we were talking about this with Zach on Wednesday, where I was telling him the best way to get Sawyer Fulton over is to give him a rehaul of his look, because he looks like a dumbass. But if you give him like a half mask and you change up, the camos and the ripped pants into something a little bit more monstrous or athletic speaking, he could get over. And he needs to lose the dreads. He looks like a dork. The dreads are not helping him look imposing. Every time I look at him, I'm just like, are you following Fish on concert? Like, are you an OAR fan? What are you doing here, Meat?
That's actually quite interesting. It feels like they've already laid. I mean, and obviously this is a mild segue, but it feels like they. I don't necessarily get to jabber back and forth with Chad on Impact a lot. It feels like they kind of laid some seeds with that, because it very much felt like he got off the leash, if you will, against like Shamrock.
Mm-hmm.
Like at this point, Sam is pretty much cut ties, but at this point, the only reason why he's kind of still being led by Jake and Dave is because he wants to. Not because he has to. So you can kind of follow suit with the whole Sammy thing and kind of let him go out on his own. Because if he wanted to, I think he could have beat Tessa for that title. because she was catching hell with him in
Mm-hmm.
those tag matches. But I think you could do something like you said, like have him just kind of snap out of the whole dog on a leash mentality. Like you said, change the look up, go off on his own, and kind of get Dave and Jake back to like classic OVE, but keep the crazy Jake personality and like the almost straight man with the Dave, and you can kind of you know say something like great came out of like putting all those guys together and then breaking them up.
Well, you're a few weeks behind on Impact, aren't you?
I'm about 2 eps back, yeah.
Yeah, Sawyer has left the group.
Of course, he has. This my luck. Of course, just like Twitter, I take a break and shit explodes. Every
but
time.
but your point still stood. They did put the seeds into a change of look for him with him leaving the group. That's kind of why I thought like you had been up to date because I'm like, yeah, you're right. You know, him leaving does kind of give them the ability to change his look a bit. And I think Jungle Boy would add, you know, I don't know what you would do. Maybe some tassels, maybe some Von Erich-esque, you know, bicep tassels. Maybe you go full on and just not and because you know like the little Ultimate Warrior tassels I'm talking about. Well,
Yeah, yeah.
instead of doing that, why don't you ramp it up and do like an entire like NBA arm sleeve of tassels?
It's it's it is also funny that you bring up Warrior because like you talking about like possible evolution. I think you had been a big fan of calling him Jungle Jack
Yeah, I like Jungle
and
Jack. That's a great name.
just going off that whole jungle theme. Like as you were talking about, I was thinking about Tarzan. I'm like because guys changing their physiques has always been a fascinating thing. Even when gender did it, it was interesting. But like, would you like hold him back for a certain amount of time, have him put on a same amount of muscle, and then kind of move into something else, kind of like a Tarzan type of thing? Like we kind of saw his evolution from a kid-looking guy into the guy that held a leopard over his head that basically killed his parents and was terrorizing his ape family type of
If
deal.
eventually, yes, because the one thing that I think the Young Bucks will have to deal with that people just kind of ignore is they're not young anymore. They're balding. So every time they call themselves the Young Bucks, I go, bitch, win.
It's, God damn it! Every time you Jericho said on the freaking pre-thing Bucks, he was like, "What a freak had the Young Bucks been? By the time they get back, they gonna be the middle-aged Bucks."
I mean,
like Jack,
they look like it.
like Jericho, you're 2 years on the wrong side of the river. like it's balding Buck. I love it.
But like Jungle Boy still looks like he's a kid. Like every time I see, like he's like what 24. Every time I see him, I want to scream, "It's almost midnight. You're out past curfew." And eventually, he's gonna lose that boyish face, and when he does, he should absolutely take 6 months off, hit the gym hardcore. You know, I don't need you to turn yourself into Ginger Jungle, like Jungle Ginger. That'd be funny, but like you don't need to go that hard, right? But like add in a little bit more definition, maybe get some biceps going. Come back with a new hairstyle. Maybe keep the curls, but like shave the sides down and maybe put it up in like a samurai pony. I think you could have something there. But when you come back, you know, have more than just what you got in terms of your gear. Maybe you lose the shoes entirely. Maybe you lose the knee pads, or maybe you add more gear. Maybe you come back as like a jungle SWAT cat. Maybe you come in like full ranger mode. You got like body armor and a mask and like a giant fucking machete. I don't fucking know. But I do think if because he could be a main eventer. He's got the look. He's got the athleticism. He's got the pedigree. He's got the built-in storyline. You know, as he was making his ascent up the ladder of his profession, his father passed away in the middle of the most important time of his life. Like that's a great, hard-hitting, real, emotional story you can utilize to build on him because they do it all the time. You know, Becky Lynch had severe social anxieties and had to leave wrestling, and she was injured and all that. And you know, Bryan Danielson, I always fucking do that. Daniel Bryan, you know, had a bad brain, and his brain wasn't bad anymore. Then he came back. So they're always using real life tragedies in storylines, and even to go in a real life instance, I think his name was Walt Harris. He's a MMA fighter. His stepdaughter was killed last winter, and he made his return against who the fuck was it? Against Alistair Overeem like last week, and it was a big part of his entire story. Like everything on ESPN, everything with the UFC that they were saying is like this is his first fight back since the death of his daughter, since his daughter was murdered. Everyone's rooting for him. It was a big component to his return. Granted, Alistair Overeem nearly got knocked out by the guy in the first first 15 seconds, it felt like. But Alistair Overeem's also like, I'm the Reem. I'm not going down yet. I'm the Ubering. And he came back and beat Walt Harris pretty decisively. But it's still one of those things. It was a major part of the story arc, and it really did help sell the fight for a lot of people who didn't know him or his story. And I think Jungle Boy has that ingrained in him. It's not a way to market or profit or belittle the death of his father, but it is a way to bring an ability to relate to him, because there's a lot of fans who've lost a parent. And it's going to be an easy kind of connection for them to blend with Jungle Boy. Because I think people don't realize that when we talk about representation in media, everyone just goes to race and gender, but it's also circumstances. Single parents, gay parents, a gay kid who had gay parents who are now dead, an alien who has American parents, but now one's dead and the other one's working for an evil organization called Checkmate. Because Clark Kent just can't get fucked over hard enough in Smallville with the way his parents do him. One dies, the other one dies, and then the other one's working for an evil organization in season 9. It doesn't make any fucking sense, but here we are. Dude, seriously, Superman, worst luck with parents. His birth parents died. Yeah. One adopted parent died. His other surrogate father in Lionel Luthor dies at the hands of his surrogate brother. It's like, man, you could date him, just don't try to adopt him, because it's not going to go well for you. There's a series of unfortunate events for whoever it stands in front of a court going, I'd like to adopt this young man.
Okay. Smile.
What was that?
Like, hello, darkness, my old friend.
Right? Hello, darkness, my old friend. Well, I've come to talk to you again. He's only ever had 2 girlfriends. Both are still alive. Both are annoying as fuck. Well, Lana is. But, like, he's got, like, 36 dead parents, man. Fucking Superman. I feel for that, man. But anyway, on a more serious note with Jungle Boy, there's a lot of kids who probably could use a guy, that they can watch who has shown them, like, listen, it's hard, but you can keep going. And I think that it's like a great motivational arc. But I don't need 17 minutes of him and MJF on fucking pay-per-view, especially after a 30-minute match beforehand. What are you doing?
Yeah, I'm not the big, like, in a lot of ways, MJF reminds me of a lot of things that we got with EC3.
Racist.
When he riding through. Damn it, he's called me out again.
Keep catching you. Not all white people look alike, Marcus, even though MJF and EC3 do look alike.
But it's just, I don't know. I'm not clicking with the kid. I mean, I see it. I mean, I get it with the personality and everything. But when he gets in the ring, he just doesn't turn it on. I mean, eventually, and with EC3, his personality was just so good, and his promos and everything was so great, and obviously the phenomenal music, that a lot of that, it's kind of like Rosemary. Like, I don't necessarily need to have her in the match a lot. I mean, I appreciate it when I get in the match, but a lot, she could just carry so much even when she's not in the ring. And with this kid, it's like, okay, I get it. You're good. You're good on the promos and everything, and just the a-hole attitude. But then you get in the ring, and I'm just like, oh, what's the point? And half of that is, I mean, of course, most of that is on purpose because he's a heel. That's a traditional way of doing it. But again, like you said, we don't need to go that long of a match. And a lot of it obviously was to show off Jungle Boy, which I'm glad, because he should get a lot more spotlight. And we were talking about the look. It's funny, the irony of, like, Marco's stunt, him, and then Luchasaurus is like the evolution of man. In a lot of ways. In a lot of weird ways, like it's literal evolution.
You,
But
you you start as a tree imp, you turn into a jungle boy, and then eventually you turn into Godzilla. I look forward to my evolution into my kaiju form. I'm
but
so hoping it's a giant gorilla.
then it just evolves in the Pacific Rim. Um,
Oh, I wouldn't mind beating up Jax Teller. That's for letting Opie die, asshole.
it's a real thing, by the way.
It's a
Uh,
real thing.
such a real thing. But yeah, and maybe I'm just waiting on him to get into a feud, um, like Cody, but can also deliver ring wise in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I didn't like I said, I'm kind of right there with you on the match. But I do appreciate the fact that it just got Jungle Boy a spotlight because he is somebody, and Luchasaurus is another one that didn't need to use more because he's kind of just there feels right now where he was hot when they first started. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Next up, we have Cody versus Lance Archer. I know it's like old school wrestling, but I've been saying for months now we need to stop saying old school wrestling because we need to evolve. We've been stuck in the same kind of pedantic, small guy, fast, long matches format for 20 years, it feels like. More like 15, to be accurate. It's time to move past that. And I tweeted out during this match, and I think it really needs to be a thing. There needs to be stoppages in wrestling. Because at this point, it's just like, how long? Like, as a wrestling business, as an organization, as a fan base, as a community, we know how dangerous concussions are, right? Well, why is it that we're sold on the idea that these fake punches cause real damage, but we're not concerned about fake punches causing fake concussions? Like, the idea that we are told that certain moves should be feared, but we're not generally fearing about the overall health of the wrestlers, kind of, it. That's part of the issue. Like, every kick, every blow, it should be more impactful. Like, if you take a fucking shot to the face, you're not going to stand there and go, come on, hit me. But we're supposed to sell on this idea that after all this damage, Cody can't stand, and oh my God, I'm so. You gotta be consistent with the booking, and we'll get to the Dustin Rhodes match, but there's inconsistencies in the in-universe of wrestling that need to be handled already, because we are too smart of a fan base to keep letting this shit go on. And I think one of the big things that needs to change is this idea that you can take an ass whipping for 20 minutes and a certified state-approved referee's going to allow it. No. So that needs to go because Lance Archer spent 21 minutes and 95 seconds beating the shit out of Cody. At a certain point, the ref's going to be like, we're done. You win. Why isn't that the case? I don't know. I think wrestling is too caught up in what people have done 20 years ago to go, how can we make this different for today? This match was only fun to watch if you are a sadist. Like, if you enjoy watching someone get their ass beat, this match was fun because Lance Archer beat the shit out of Cody. Like, every time he hit him, he's like, "That's for your fucking stupid tattoo. Your stupid fucking tattoo. You look like a goddamn dork." And then Cody would be like, "At least I didn't get a tramp stamp." And then Lance was like, "Oh, you want to go there, bitch?" And then Lance would kick his ass even more.
Yeah, it's interesting with Cody, man, and I think this is the direction they're going in because the whole thing, like the narrative on commentary, was like you can't break that road spirit. Like it even I mean, Arn was talking about it before the match. He was like, obviously it seems like a foregone conclusion going against Archer who's going to win the match, but you know, that's not speaking of fortitude, resilience, digging down deep and pulling it out. It's like kind of made me think back. I was talking to somebody about maybe it was NXT. No, we was running back matches Ring of Honor, and it was like something that annoyed him about Adam Cole was like he's a 5 foot something wrestler that wrestles like he's 6 foot something.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of like I feel like Cody shouldn't be wrestling. Like I feel like that mentality that they're trying to gear towards that character is like something for a Jungle Boy, not a Cody. And like for him to be, it kind of like how Cena's first, a lot of his matches was when he first won that WWE title. Like he get whooped for like match would be 35 minutes. He'll take nothing. He'll take an ass whooping for 30 of, and then 5 minutes it'll be the 5 moves of doom, and he come back and win. Like that got boring
It's more like
and
34
predictable.
and 30 of a 35-minute match because he'd only need 30 seconds and then he'd win.
You're right. You're right.
But you're exactly right. Like
But
that's how this match was.
yeah, yeah, and it is that. I mean, and then you get that on top of, I guess now we talk about because the tattoo is one thing. Then you get to the belt aesthetic.
Oh, we'll get there. We'll get there. So to
Yeah.
go back to your point about Cody, Cody has what I like to call Christian Cage-itis. It is definitively obvious Cody Rhodes is not athletic. He's not. He's not built athletic. He's awkwardly shaped, and every time you see him go off the middle rope, it looks like he's about to blow out his knee. Just like Christian Cage. Now, there's an endearing factor about that. Cody and Christian weren't athletic guys, but they were able to get the fans, on their side, so it really didn't matter. But a lot of the times, Christian and Cody both would try to do high-risk moves that just didn't seem to work. Dustin's a brawler. He's always been a brawler, and it works for him. But Cody's always, and same with his father. Dusty was a brawler. I'm sure Dusty had like an armbar or like, a hip toss, but like usually it was punches, elbow, do the gyro thing, and then you punch him again. Maybe you'd hit him with a knee when he's down or kick him or stomp on him, but it was mostly just him beating the shit out of someone. Cody, even though he's an acclaimed amateur wrestler, because doesn't he have a win over like Xavier Woods in high school?
I don't know.
I think that's right. Even though he's an acclaimed amateur wrestler, he never comes across as a technical wrestler. But he always tries to do like these middle rope moves and these top rope moves, and like it doesn't seem to land. So like I do feel like he's miscast in terms of his style, and he sells like no one else. He's one of the best sellers in the business. When you watch a Cody Rhodes match, he brings you in ways that few can. But in terms of his offense, it does feel... It feels like you're watching Mike Vick try to play in Peyton Manning's offense. Sure, super talented, but wrong system. No one wants to see Peyton Manning do a fake handoff and run up the middle. And no one wants to see Michael Vick try to check down 26 different plays until he finds the right one so he can hit the most pinpoint accurate fade route. Because Mike Vick just fucking threw his goddamn football through people's chests. And then just, if they were able to catch it, cool. And if they were alive after the ball hit him, cool. But he was just going to gunsling the damn thing. So, like, I feel like Cody needs to adapt his style to fit more of his frame because he does feel very... he's not always the most fun wrestler to watch because he just doesn't seem to be organic in his movement. But I like Cody, and besides that awful fucking neck tattoo, which I will never let go, I don't feel like Cody hurts anything with his actions. I just think that you can improve him if he was more grounded in his style. This match I thought was just a waste of time because like after the 16th minute mark of Cody getting his ass beat, I think it was when he got thrown over the top turnbuckle to the floor, I knew Cody was going to win. It was telegraphed. And that's part of the problem with matches like this is how it's going to end, which is why the one time it didn't go that way when Brock Lesnar spent 30 minutes beating John Cena's ass and then pinned him, and everyone's like, wait, there was no comeback? What the fuck? It worked because you got us. And the thing that they should have done is had Archer go over. Had him beat Cody's ass for 22 minutes and go over. Could have made it
that would have been, I mean, right on the money, man. I mean, it would have, Archer's somebody that you pull the trigger on him. And I get it, like the whole narrative of him, Cody needing that title because obviously, and I think in a lot of ways he did put himself out of that world title picture. So the conversation to him, basically awarding the guy running the company, put the belt on himself. So that conversation never comes up. And it does keep the lane open for all other talent to shine through. But I don't know, man. I mean, I think he's always been a guy that has been better in the chase.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody like Archer, like I said, he's the guy you put in the spotlight. Like I remember how much fun it was just watching, on Lucha Underground. I think it was that second season where Mil Muertes had the title and he was just sitting on top of the temple in that chair, lauding over everything. Like that could be somebody like Archer.
So, fun fact that I don't know if they were inspired by it, but that was the thing that the World Martial Arts, WMAC, the World Martial Arts Council TV show used to do. I think we reviewed that, so you might remember what I'm talking about. That pro wrestling karate show. The champion of the organization would sit upon a throne overlooking the battle arena, like Sang Shun. And I was thinking to myself, God, how great would it be if they just started putting Mike Tyson in like a giant fucking a throne, watching the action and reacting to it. I would mark for that.
It would also be a great, call back to that great promo that I mean, all this damn promos are good. I mean, freaking legend. But when he first debuted, and he was like, "Oh hell, Caesar, my Caesar," like that would be great because then you'll just have like every time Cody has a match, like they're paying to like Archer and what you call it doing a thumbs up or thumbs down type of, which at this point in a lot of ways is overdone in certain instances. But that would be a great little callback to that. And again, it will work because nobody's touching this guy. Like he doesn't have to have those uh, squash matches with the guys he's been doing it, but it goes to show you like nobody's really touching Archer. So for here, the dramaticism of it is cool, but it would have been better if he won. And it's not like Tyson got involved like that to really be like, well, freaking Tyson punched him. I mean, anybody's going to be out after that. So,
Not me. I can take a Tyson punch.
God bless you.
For like $500 million, I'd be glad to prove that point. Pay me first, though.
As soon as you said that, I'm like, he'd rather be back out, ass naked, back out with that Falcon and take a Tyson.
To be fair, I was not ass naked the first time.
No, I'm just saying, like, that'll even be better than taking a Tyson.
Like, maybe 3 weeks ago, I would have said, hell yeah, I'll take a Tyson punch. Then I saw his workout video. Hell no. Like, if I got to, I'll do it. Like, I'm very much one of those grit my teeth and get it done kind of guys. But if I don't need to, I ain't jumping in front of that train. Hell no. I'd rather eat food from Alberto Del Rio's restaurant than fight Mike Tyson.
Just protocol when you're there.
So, the match didn't land with me. They failed to get over Archer, which is ironic because they had the most opportune possibility to do so. Because, like, Archer was throwing around. Like, who even was that guy? Like, who was that guy at the start of the match? Do you know?
No, I don't.
He's just some weeb. He's getting fucking tossed around by Archer. Whatever. He's probably some anime geek. Whatever. And, like, Archer's, like, beating the shit out of him. And Mike Tyson's, like, marking out so hard. His eyes are wide. He's like, what the fuck? And I'm like, dude, you just made Iron Mike go WTF. You are over like Rover. Like, that's the thing. Like, dude, imagine if you had someone competent booking this show. Holy God. Someone would have gone, we're putting over Archer in 5 minutes because Mike Tyson just fucking put him over as a god with one facial reaction. But there was no one to sit there and go, we're going to change things up. There was no one to say, we're putting over Archer now. So now instead that entire moment doesn't it's not rendered anymore.
Or even better than that. And to me, and I like Cody, we give Cody all the props he deserves.
We are big fans of Cody. Just not that next.
Even more, to me, even more important moment than Cody winning that strap. Imagine him squashing Cody, because I mean, again, the continued to me the story with Cody is like he continues to be an adult. Every time he makes a friend, they betray him, kick his ass, and then he has to have a match with him. Like it's gonna get to the point to me where he's just gonna snap on everybody. Mm-hmm. That's how I do. But imagine him squashing Cody, and then Tyson having to present him with that strap, and just Lance is just in his stuff, and then just kind of like almost checks Tyson in a way, like yanks the belt from him, like, give me this, boy. And then they have a little face off, and Jake has to back him down.
To be clear, Marcus is black. He can say that. I don't think Lance Archer should be calling Mike Tyson boy. I think that would go over very poorly. Lance Archer might be swallowing some teeth.
I mean, he don't. No, definitely. First of all, language for that moment. Language, boy, language.
Right?
But he don't even have like just like taking the belt with one hand and shoving him off with another.
I,
We
I,
know
I
what
like the
happens when
idea.
you shove.
I very much like that idea. Just we don't need Archer calling him boy. That would be
Yeah,
problematic. Not
like
socially
Tyson.
speaking. I mean insurance wise, because Tyson will kill a
Absolutely.
motherfucker.
We, the guys ain't got that much money, but
Apparently not. Have you seen that goddamn title belt?
we're gonna get to it. But just like imagine, like, because Tyson's just reformed enough to know that this probably ain't a good idea, but he's still like that classic Tyson the way he's not finna get pumped, whether it's staged or otherwise. So in my mind, anyway, because it's Tyson. So that would be such a great moment, and because again, you got Jake ramping this guy up. You know Archer's crazy anyway. If you've ever seen anything he's done in New Japan, um, so I just thought that would have been a phenomenal moment, and the potential to have that somewhere down the line of Tyson wanting to come in because there's this whole thing about him potentially making a comeback anyway. I think would be great.
I love that idea. But I not even but I would like to add that he takes the belt from Tyson, and when Tyson then, because retroactively he would step forward to confront Archer. Archer could just like
Yeah,
stare at him, and then Tyson kind of just goes, "I'm good." Now, see, Tyson in '98, no, that would never have worked. Tyson's,
yeah,
he's a different person than who he used to be. He's
yeah.
gotten therapy. He's on proper medication. All those angers and issues he's had with seems to be in the past, which is a great thing for him. I think he'd play ball. I think he would be like, hell yeah, I would love to do that, because he had no problem being very genuine over how impressed he was with Lance Archer at the start of that entire thing where he's chucking around that little guy. Well, he was probably 5'9", but to Archer they're all little. So I think that would have been an even just to add like the frosting on top of your cupcake of awesome. Having Archer back down Tyson would have been, the entire sequence would have been perfect. That whole face at the beginning, then he kicks the shit out of your top star and Cody, and then Tyson's too afraid to fuck with him. Holy God, talk about a new star.
Oh hell, even if you don't do that, do the thing where he turns and he gives him the Bane face and is like, oh my God, Tyson gonna swing on her, and then he turns into a 5-year-old and gets and smiles him off basically.
Gets all giddy because of
Basically,
how impressive and destructive he is.
does the two slap on the shoulder and just walks off.
Yeah, both work to getting over Archer. Because when the world's most, no, what was his moniker? Iron Mike. I forget what his moniker was. But when Iron Mike is afraid of you, that's huge. When Iron Mike is impressed by you, that's huge. Either way, it would have worked. That title belt's fucking garbage, though. Now they tweeted out that it was because there's no, they didn't have the ability to get gold on it. Motherfucker, that belt was gonna look trash with or without gold. It's got an ugly ass red strap. Who the fuck thinks for a red strap is cute? What? And then what? You're gonna have like gold little inglets or something? Like you're gonna have like a gold exterior? What? No, fuck off, dude. What's his name? Lambier, the the NBA guy, the MMA guy, the guy who owns American Top Team, is a notorious championship belt collector of wrestling. He's sitting front row. He lives 20 minutes down the goddamn. You couldn't have called him and be like, hey, you got a belt we could borrow? Like, there's no foresight here. It's like a bunch of chimps jerking off in a room. None of y'all are thinking about the outcome. It's gonna be messy. Ah, Marcus. How can a
Yeah,
company backed by a billionaire be so dumb?
it's what's really crazy is I love the AEW World Title. Like I
It's
think it's
Lambert, by
a
the way,
brand
not
that
Lambier. That's my bad. Lambert, not Lambert. And you're right. The world title belt, it looks awesome.
yeah, and you could have those titles look similar but different, like kind of how like Impact did it, Ring of Honor did it when their belts were good. Um,
You mean before they became a matte finish belt? Hey, look, there's no
yeah,
texture on this flat surface. How kosher.
Exactly. But yeah, I don't get like the red strap thing that it almost looks like the big brother slash big cousin of the Raw tag titles.
Yep.
And we talked about the ugliness of those titles. So I don't get. And somebody said it's not finished, and that alludes to what you were saying. But I'm like, it should be finished completely and rebranded to something else. Like just what's the term? Refurbish the whole
Yeah.
thing.
It doesn't
So
matter if
yeah.
it's not finished because the red strap is terrible. Are you telling me that you can get a red strap made, but you couldn't make a black strap made during the COVID crisis? Like what? No, that's dumb. That's just dumb. You get all that silver work done, but you have a giant ugly. It looks like the goddamn 24/7 title. It really
24/7.
does.
Like yeah, it's not good. Like, and it's a lot of creativity you could throw into that. The TNT, here comes the boom, all that kind of stuff. Like you could just a lot of creative stuff you could do with that. It's so plain, it's so generic, and like I mean, I don't know. Maybe the point was to have something to offset or match the tattoo. I don't.
Cover
I
it up,
don't know.
maybe.
I need to distract them from my neck. Here.
Oh, trust me, Cody, a belt's not going to make us forget that monstrosity. So we then go into two quick matches, which who's pacing this fucking show? Is Kenny booking again?
Hilarious.
Don't fucking let him book. So we got Chris Statlander versus Penelope Ford. I don't want to say Penelope Ford is only here because she's a good-looking chick, because that would be not fully true. But you can tell this match only went 5 minutes because Penelope Ford is not on Chris Statlander's level talent-wise. That was obvious. Penelope Ford did dick all in this match. To be fair, I don't think Britt Baker would have been much better. You know, Britt may have, everyone's saying that her new heel gimmick is great.
No,
All
it's
right,
not.
but you still have to watch her wrestle, and that's not fun either. So,
No, it's not. You just getting it. You seeing it a lot. That's not seeing something a lot and it being good is two different things.
And granted, I acknowledge that good is subjective, but Britt is just like her husband, fiance. I don't know what the fuck they are. I'm going to just call everyone husband and wife until I'm corrected. Fuck it.
Ironically, you're probably right in this business.
Yeah, essentially. But, like, I don't think fucking Adam Cole's that good of a worker. He has, like, 3 moves. He does, like, an elbow drop. He does, like, a super kick. And then he's like, I'm exhausted. Look at my thinning hairline. Every Adam Cole match. Oh, and then the Bebe, which was cute when you were 22 and you could pull it off. Bro, you 30, you old. Ugh.
That's a shirt, and on the back, thank you, fuck you, bye.
Thank you, fuck you, bye. I adore Statlander. I think she's fantastic, and they did a great job, like putting her over. Like she's a big girl. She's like 6 feet tall, but they didn't follow it up. I wish they would have followed it up because they would have been like most women in wrestling are like 5'6" and under. So Statlander is like a goddamn Amazon to most chicks. But again, like I said, sometimes Ross misses the plot. And that was another failed opportunity to get Statlander over. She's just so big and so dominant. But then, like, Excalibur chimed in with, she doesn't even like Star Trek and Star Wars. She just likes science. No one now or ever cared about that, Excalibur?
It's not. She doesn't like sci-fi, just the sci.
Right?
What?
Like,
Okay, that.
If she was so into science, why isn't she making more money doing the science? Like, that's like saying, Chad here, instead of doing podcasts, could be doing open heart surgery because he has a doctorate in cardiology. Then why the fuck would I spend so much time writing and doing podcasts? It makes no fucking sense. Don't sit here and be like, oh yeah, this person could easily make more money, have a less stressful life, not be harassed online, wouldn't have to worry about being in tip-top shape at 24/7, 365, and could have a life beyond, wrestling because their body's not destroyed. But instead, no, we're going to just be like, yeah, she's into science, but she instead decides to get kicked in the face for a living. She's totally smart. Not really. Not
Yeah,
really.
it's I mean, not only is she, statuesque, but she's also very gorgeous.
Yes.
Um,
She's
and with
she's a looker.
yeah, she really is.
She's
And
a
I
dame,
wonder,
if you will.
a dame, yes. Oh, I love that word. We need to bring that word back. No, probably not. That's probably in the disrespectful category now too.
No, it's actually a formal
Um,
title. You know who Judi Dench is, right?
yeah,
Her full title, because she was christened by the Queen, is Dame Judi Dench. That is the formal version of Sir. So like whenever you hear like Sir Ian McKellen, the female equivalent is Dame. So it's actually very respectful. That Dame's got
no,
some
see,
gams.
that's for the small logical people. For these asshats, yeah, you give them that definition. You're either trying to call her out of her name, or you're trying to call her masculine. Idiots.
I mean,
We can't help you. Trouble.
you're not
Flat
wrong.
scans, troglodyte. Can't help.
Flat scans and troglodytes. I see you've been enjoying the MVP promos.
Oh yes, but I want not in WWE, but
Well,
well,
duh.
some of them he'll slip some wise in there every now and then, but and I wonder, speaking of it like being offended, I wonder if that's why like JR stopped short because he had the preference even before he brought that up. He was like, I'm not trying to be um crass or anything, and then he went off into her and then made the size come out. I wonder if he didn't expound on that because he didn't want to perhaps have his words taken out of context.
It's very
So he
possible.
kind of stopped. Yeah, because JR's from the old school. Stuff that that he'd say, comes from a deep well of wrestling knowledge. But these new age fans, they got to pick everything apart, and then JR's just being an old crow, sitting on the porch licking his lips at these young women, and that's the complete opposite. So,
No, that's me.
um, yes, like no, we got that part covered. But yeah, like you said, in terms of her, her opponent, yeah, she got a ways to go, and like you said, Britt Baker wouldn't have been no better. But Statlander is somebody I've appreciated seeing her mature more and getting the stuff. And like Statlander, we're gonna get to Sheeta in a minute. Even Rose, somebody like Swole, which hopefully we get more of. Like they benefit from like showing more of their personality and letting them go more. Like that roster can be more than what it is, and I think we've talked about that's kind of the weakest part. I think unanimously across the board, a lot of people will say that, but they definitely got stuff to work with. They just got to put it all together.
Statlander's only been wrestling for 3 years. Penelope Ford's only been wrestling for 6 years. Statlander, though, is an athlete. You can tell.
Yeah,
She's built. She's thick in all the right ways as an athlete should be. She's someone who knows how to move in the ring. Penelope Ford, I don't think is much of an athlete. Maybe she was, but maybe her choice of sport didn't translate to the necessary skill sets. But I've never been impressed with Penelope Ford. But I also think part of the problem with Penelope Ford is that how often is she utilized? Like with Rosemary. Rosemary had a catastrophic knee injury, and it really hurt her work rate. But she's so good everywhere else, no one cares. She's the female version of Hulk Hogan nowadays. Like when Hogan was popular and not considered a racist fuck. Like no one showed up for a Hogan match because they wanted to see a 30-minute mat classic. They showed up because they wanted to see Hogan do his thing. We're showing up because we want to see Rosemary do her thing. We don't need her to go 48 minutes in a grapple fest. Just give us the Rosemary. Like that's what we're here for, man. But I don't know if Penelope Ford has that type of creativity or charisma because we haven't seen much of her. Like in that regard. Like I don't know. Like I doubt she's getting weekly promos. So I think that's going to hurt her and her perception. And that's another thing. Like a lot of this is perception, right?
yeah,
I say she's not
yeah.
athletic, but that's only because my baseline is I've never seen her do much that is athletic. With Cody, I've seen him do things. And every time he does it, I think his knee's going to goddamn blow out. So it's like, if you don't have much of a baseline, it's hard to really go off of what someone is. And we see it all the time. Like, well, Stone Cold's, Steve Austin wasn't very charismatic in WCW, so he doesn't have any charisma. Then he goes to WWE and he becomes the most charismatic wrestler of all time. maybe next to The Rock, but still, Dwayne Johnson smiling happy, looks like he's straight out of the goddamn Partridge Family. Oh, well, this guy's, he's boring. Who the fuck's going to call Dwayne The Rock Johnson in 2020 boring? Maybe you could call his choice of movie selection piss poor. Even Pam Anderson thought Baywatch was terrible.
Yeah, I saw
And
that.
she can't act. So that tells you something. But no one's going to call him boring. So maybe for me, I need more Penelope Ford to get a better baseline on where she is and what she can do. To be fair.
Yeah, it's it's interesting because I very much was in that vein about Scarlett Bordeaux with Impact, and then obviously she had matches online that you could check out and stuff, but then I saw her and she's not necessarily Gail Kim in between the ropes either, but she had some good stuff about it, and maybe perhaps in that realm that she's not necessarily getting necessarily the moments or the opportunity to get to show all of what she can do. But for now, she really is just eye candy with a lot of looks and mannerisms and stuff. And against Statlander, like you said, it becomes very obvious what exactly she can't do. And even though we get a lot of Britt Baker and we're told a lot, and she got, she's Cole-esque in her character, if you will, just in terms of being very abrasive, and she has that move. It's like she's another one of those talents that just doesn't do it for me, and I wish they would move away from her and more so to people like Statlander, obviously more to Sheeta, more to Rose, and more to people like Swole who have natural personalities that instantly pop off screen, as opposed to somebody that all of a sudden is interesting to watch because they're shit talking Skiavone. Like, really?
Swole did more for the Lance Archer Cody match than Cody did. That was her in the front row, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Man, she does not like Lance Archer, man. I tell you what. But I agree with you. I agree on every one of your points. For Britt Baker, I would describe her as yawnful, because every time I watch her, I want to go to sleep. Speaking of yawnful, fucking who the hell's still booking Sean Spears? God damn, he's yawnful. That's a new trend. We're bringing it around. Everyone we don't like because they're boring is just yawnful. Yawn and full, like awful, but with a Y.
Oh man.
Am I wrong in saying Sean Spears is yawnful? Like, does anyone think
No.
he's charismatic?
It's and this, I guess this could be one of the points where we diverge on. I think that he has a lot more than what he's showing and has been provided opportunities to do. Like, I feel like I like the stuff he was doing in NXT when he had the 10 stuff, but even then they didn't really fully let him go with that. And now he's in AEW and he's obviously it's a more lucrative platforms in terms of being able to do more creative things, but they started him off bad because they had him immediately go after the biggest guy in the company. And he got probably more buzz than he's had in his entire career. And then that whole thing happened and he took a L. And then they paired him with Tully, or they paired him with Tully in the midst of that, and they really haven't capitalized off that. I don't know if they've abandoned him looking for a tag partner or not.
Have they abandoned on him looking for a personality?
But yeah, I mean, look, I like his theme song. I like a lot of things with his swag. Like, he's clearly a guy that is on it, that has a lot of like a high wrestling IQ to me. And I even like the segment that they did to get the match, the Sean Spears news. But it goes back to your point about perception. They're not doing a lot to help his perception because you can't be that guy that picks a bunch of. I mean, we saw what happened with Bray Wyatt. All he did was pick fights he never won. And you got this guy that damn near killed Cody with a chair all of a sudden, and then start calling himself the chairman, and he ain't used the damn chair since.
Still haven't cared about Bray Wyatt since then. To be fair, I barely cared about him beforehand.
Yeah, and it's just like, to me, that they could be doing a lot more. I feel like he has a lot more in the tank. He just needs to be in, like, get a chance to do it, and he needs to rack up wins. It's like it's a bad thing, a mix between the Bray Wyatt thing and the Ziggler thing. Um, I mean, obviously both of them are supreme leaders of the losing community, but
Losing community.
losing community. But now you got him out here, freaking getting his ass kicked in briefs with Tully Blanchard's face on the crotch. You're not doing this guy any favors at all. So, for me, I mean, I can't really. How could I even contest the fact yawnful? That's what they put him in when they have him in moments like this. So
For me, Sean Spears has never been that guy who landed. Even when he was doing the 10 stuff, like, what was he doing besides doing 10? Like, that's all I would ever see him do is just saying 10. Cool, it got the crowd into it, but also the crowd once did the Fandango, so the crowd can fuck themselves.
yeah, there was.
They are not my barometer for what works. They're my barometer for what the dumb things they want to get into. Because it's very high school. Like, you ever notice that with the fan base? It's very high school in the sense that they'll glom onto something that everyone knows is terrible, but they like it because it's terrible. That's how I
No, I mean,
often
100.
see a lot of in wrestling, especially with the 10 or the Fandango.
Yeah, I mean, no, you're 100% right. Specifically with wrestling, and it's weird because it's very much like the superstar thing. They like the guy until everybody likes the guy,
Mm-hmm.
and then all of a sudden, he's not the guy. You're pushing him down our throats. We didn't ask for this. I'm like, yeah, but you was doing like his thing. Like he had the hottest elevator music for however long, and they put him in the spotlight. He beat Jericho at WrestleMania for God's sakes, and now, and that was a combination of the company and a lot of times they put a lot of people in positions they're not ready for. But no, I mean you're right. I mean specifically with the NXT audience, they very much are a niche crowd. I mean this is the same audience that possessed the kid that was crying every time Bailey was in trouble, right? So it's like it's only so much, which I think she grew out of, thankfully. But that specific crowd is not necessarily the barometer for what's going to work. Um, and maybe that's just me when in terms of Spears seeing more than what's there. But I just feel like a lot of the things that he can do, he's just not being put in position uh, to do it. But for now, I'm just like I can't argue with it. He's literally the whipping boy now. So.
Yawnful strikes again. Then we got the no DQ Hikaru Shida and Nyla Rose match. This was fine. I really didn't have much of an issue with it. At first, I'm like, wait, why? Well, actually, hang on. Let me back up to the Dustin Sean Spears match. So, Marcus, you and I both know that when two people are brawling outside of the ring before the bell officially rings, that's not part of the
Mm-hmm.
match. Both men need to
Yep.
be in the ring for the bell to ring.
Mm-hmm.
So then how in the hell can Sean Spears demand a 10 count and it be official if both men aren't in the ring? Now, I know people say, well, he was bullying Aubrey and he's a heel. Then that makes her look terrible because she's a shitty referee.
That's funny because that got stated tonight.
Yeah, it did. More to the point, though, in an event someone doesn't show up to the show, there's changes. We will get notified ahead of time, as we saw twice tonight with I was going to call him Ray Phoenix. They just call him Phoenix now. Phoenix and Britt Baker, they were unable to be at the show due to injuries or unable to compete. They may have been at the shows. But they were unable to compete, so there was replacements. How do you go into the final 32 seconds before the match starts before you know if Dustin Rhodes is there? This is what I mean about wrestling in-world universe needing to clean itself up. What you should have done is said, Dustin Rhodes isn't there, announced it ahead of time, then have Sean Spears announce to face Marco Stunt, because he was at the show, but he wasn't wrestling. And then when Marco Stunt comes out, to face off with Sean Spears, all of a sudden Dustin Rhodes' music can come out. He can grab Marco, toss him to the side, and just beat the shit out of Sean Spears. It doesn't even need to be a match. This is what I mean. Like, wrestling is dumb, and it needs to not be dumb because there's no reason for it to be dumb. If you go to an MMA event and someone can't make the card, they don't randomly go, well, until the last possible second, well, I don't know if he's going to be here. We know usually weeks ahead of time. You don't see an NFL game. Tom Brady can't play. Well, we only found out right when they took the field and Tom Brady wasn't, behind center. No, we know before the game starts. So if AEW is going to be real sport, and I want it to be, then they need to do better
Yeah.
with this. Because that was fucking
No, you.
stupid, and it killed the entire angle for me.
No, you're right. And even though I like that Sean Spears news segment, and hopefully they do more. Even though again, credibility is no point in having him call people out on the damn show if he's not going to beat them. But they needed to do that a week in advance because they telegraphed it even more so than the actual moment. Because literally it got thrown on the card. He called him out, and then like 2 seconds after the segment, like, oh, it's official, and it's like, with that rate of how things transpired, clearly he was gonna be there.
Mm-hmm.
Like had it been done a week before, and he was like he said he go wait on his response, and then they could have did something with that. Then you can kind of, string that along a little bit because obviously he took a beating from Archer. But with that immediacy, it's like, okay, clearly that's gonna go on, and they threw that out to pad the card out. And then, like you said, the execution with the thing, at the very least, if they was gonna botch, like you said, that how it went down when he came out. At the very least, don't make it a match. Just let them go.
Mm-hmm.
Just let him go. Just let him come out there and kick his ass because he, first off, he called him out. He didn't do a regular call him out. He was like, he brought up his drug past. He passed with drugs and whatever, and then took another shot at him. It's like at that point, I don't want to put you in a headlock. I want to put my foot up your ass.
Yeah.
Literally. So just let them fight, and then I think that would have been better. Like have him lay him out with the final cut or whatever, the suplex thing he does, and then just have him lay him out. He was in his drawers. I ain't trying to get down on the mat with no dude in his freaking his legitimate drawers, and then having a grown ass man's face on his crotch. No, I'm gonna kick his ass and toss him to the side like he was Marco Stunt at that point. So
I think the biggest issue I have with stuff like this is the telegraphing. I'm supposed to suspend disbelief, but yet you telegraph everything you do. I know, at least I'm assuming for you, Mark, 'cause I don't like to state things I don't know for a fact about you. But I have a feeling that the Mark Henry heel turn from back in the day was something that you loved, correct? Fair?
yeah, Hall of Pain stuff phenomenal. Yeah.
I meant the retirement heel turn.
The thing that worked most was the way his believability in selling it.
So for me, that's one of the worst of all time, and I'll tell you why. If you are going to do this, if you are going to fuck the fans as hard as you think you can, you preempt, like you put some goddamn effort into it. You go, we're going to leak a story a week out that Mark Henry has a bad back. Then we're going to leak a story that Mark Henry's going to be on Raw to make a big announcement. Then we're going to leak a story that Mark Henry's retiring. Then when you go and do the segment, whether it's at the start of the show or the end of the show, wherever, you have him break down, because he did do a great job with that. He absolutely did. You have him break down, you have him talk about, I didn't want it to end like this. This wasn't my choice. I'm broken. I just can't go. And then like, maybe if you want to do this, you can do this. You can bring out the rest of the roster to really sell it. But then Mark Henry goes. Mm-hmm. And then whether you want to do it that night, a week later, a month, whatever, John Cena's in a title match, and then all of a sudden, someone runs out of the audience in a big old costume and just, slams him to the ground, rips off the mask. It's Mark Henry, and he beats the shit out of Cena. But instead, what we got was Mark Henry's all emotional. Then John Cena comes out, and we're like, why the fuck is John Cena out here? He was only out there to get his ass kicked.
Exactly.
So either it's real and John Cena is that much of an asshole in real life, he needs to steal the spotlight, or it's fake and I don't need to care anymore. Like you've ruined the need, like, because it's a surprise angle. It's not like you're building up to it slowly. Like when Sean threw Marty through the window, it was built up to. Same thing with James Storm and Chris Harris. We knew what was coming, and we're here to see what was happening. Like we don't need to be surprised. We're here to see the end result. But when you do a surprise twist, if you telegraph the surprise, no one cares. And that's why the angle didn't go beyond that, because no one talks about the month of rivalry with John Cena after that one moment, because it wasn't good. But Henry did have a great performance, though, and that's what people kind of glom onto.
Yeah, it's the performance and it's the salmon jacket. That's what they talk about.
The salmon jacket was pretty awesome.
And even he talked about that. Like, look, you could sell something like that even if it's like you said, the telegraphing of it. Like if it's one of the New Day, if E or Kofi come out, that's different because of that relationship.
Right,
Right?
exactly. Like if it was D'Lo Brown back in the day and Mark Henry had to do this, Shawn Michaels and Triple H. Like if it's a partnership, a friendship, that works. But
Yeah.
we've never seen John Cena and Mark Henry in the same screenshot, let alone on the same fucking bus. We don't know they're friends. Oh, like, dude, if like Kofi did that, like, or like if Kofi came out with Big E and Big E does like a retirement speech, and then like Kofi hugs him, and then Big E just fucking slams him through the mat. Holy shit, I'll pop like a goddamn motherfucker. Because I wouldn't see that coming. But John Cena's never wrestled Mark Henry.
And I think, this is a perfect example of why a lot of our frustrations and differences in terms of how we look at things and using logic and not getting so emotionally invested, we look stupid in the face and shake his hand because, fans be like, well, the way he delivered it in the salmon jacket, the stuff by the time Cena came out there, it didn't matter. Yes, it does matter because it's random. It's too random
Mm-hmm.
to not start questioning it. Like it's too random. It's like if freaking who you got in the ring? You got Shelton Benjamin in the ring, and then freaking Johnny Gargano or something comes out. It
Right.
makes no sense.
Right.
Like it just like they've never had any interaction. It's like somebody like people. Cena got emotional, came out. It makes no sense. If he's really retiring, you have the roster come out,
Mm-hmm. And then like
something
Cena
like
can be
that.
the last one to leave, and then Henry snatches him as everyone else is leaving and chucks him.
Boom. But you'll have fans be like, well, no, the segment was, I mean, perfect just because you can't take a piece of what was good about something and then make that the whole of it.
Mm-hmm.
If anything, the Cena interrupted ruined the whole of it
Yep.
because it was like the fix is in. Like Cena, and I think that was during Cena's, maybe during his stage where he was coming out trying to give people props and then just taking L's. Like he came out and tried to welcome or shake Brock's hand. He got F5'd and did it to the Rock and got rock bottom or something. But
Yeah.
I mean,
That sounds about right.
he yeah, and obviously he beat Henry because the whole thing was about the title. I got a lot more left in the tank. Like it was like he was almost on some Mr. T thing. I got a lot of more. Got a lot of more.
And then Mark
But
Henry never wrestled again.
he never wrestled again. So again, what people remember most about that is his selling of it in that damn salmon jacket.
And he did a great job selling it, but they booked it to be very forgettable. And that's again another issue with this Dustin Rhodes Shawn Spears. It was fixed. Like we knew what was going to happen. Like you've already announced twice on the show that two people couldn't wrestle, and now all of a sudden Dustin Rhodes. One, if Dustin Rhodes is that late, we already know that if in real life he was that late to the arena, you wouldn't be booking him. You'd replace him. Like so, we know. And instead of going, well, you need to just stop being so, do Mark or maybe wrestling needs to evolve. One of the best, shit. Our political system has used the media for their own propaganda better than a fictional sports company has. Like, Jesus Christ, can you not have like certain guys that you dub the moles and you just tell Meltzer this, tell Wade Keller this, tell so-and-so this? Because that's how you work in the modern day. It's not fucking hard. Like,
Yeah,
goddamn, if you pollute
I think
the pond, then no one knows what's what.
yeah, I think a lot of fans, man, they get to the point where it's like, they either all in on suspension of disbelief that they kind of just forego easy spots where you can interject logic. Like what
Like,
we're talking about is simple. It's simple stuff. It's not even going out of the way on an angle with the characters to interject. Like even if you did something as simple as who's the guy that he had teaming with him? Because I
who?
know he had I think he started teaming with a guy. That's why Brandy was managing him. But even if you did something as simple
Oh,
as have
yeah, yeah. Oh, God, hang on. He was in Ring of Honor, and no one liked him. I forget his name. He looks like a happy, like, if you imagine like a happy cartoon clam, that's what I imagine this dude as. Like an anthropomorphic happy clam. What's his fucking name? Ah, it doesn't matter. Whatever. Go on.
but even if you had him come out and be like QT Marshall.
Yeah, there it
Yeah,
is, QT. Ah, cutie.
yeah. QT Marshall come out and say, look, like he's not here, but I heard all the trash you was talking. You want to fight, you can fight me in his place, or something like do something simple. Even that's
Yeah.
simple. But they didn't even do that. Maybe that's because he wasn't there, or whatever. But they could have at least did something like that. But again, like you said, it's just weird. Like interjecting simple logic like that is not crashing up against the already suspended disbelief you have of a guy, coming out and makeup and paint and or whatever you have interjected in this stuff. It's not clashing against that. It's making it better. But because a lot of fans just want to like something, screw your logic. It was good. Did you see him? He smacked him on the ass and he ran. Yeah.
In a TV show, for the most part, in modern television times, you have the show plot and then you have your subplots.
Yeah.
In wrestling, subplots are the individual angles as they play out in front of the camera. The story plot, the main plot, is handled and narrated by the announcers. You need to start lumping everything into totalities. If you have Britt Baker and Phoenix, they can't wrestle, then you go Britt Baker, Phoenix, and Dustin Rhodes aren't here tonight. At the start of the show. Okay. That way, if Dustin Rhodes shows up, it's a shocker. Oh, he wasn't supposed to be here. He's not medically cleared. But that one needs to end, too, because, no, he would never compete if he's not medically cleared. But maybe and then, afterwards, Dustin can be like, I called AEW and I told them I wasn't coming in tonight because I wanted to make sure you were in that ring when I got there. All right, boom. You 2 segments, you just made everything logical. But you couldn't even give us that. But at least Hikaru Shida could give us a fun little match here. I liked it. It was good. I'm still not a huge Nyla Rose fan, but I think she's a lot better than a lot of the other women on the roster. I don't know how long she's been wrestling for, but she does seem to have a natural grasp for it. And her physicality does make her stand out tremendously to the point where the only other time she was kind of met with a physical force, deemed equal was Statlander. So for Sheeta to have to go to the weaponry very early was a nice little touch of how physically imposing Nyla is and what Sheeta needed to do to get over it. She came off as crafty while Rose came off as domineering, which is, I think, what they were going for, and I think it worked.
Absolutely, man. I'm right there. Which, I mean, besides the main event, which is almost a separate entity just because of what it was, this is my match of the night.
Mm-hmm.
I really dug. Like I said, I wasn't on a big fan of Nyla Rose at first, but it's been cool watching her coming on and really own a lot of aspects of that character, and she's getting better with the stuff, and like the whole thing we call Sheeta. Obviously she can go. She's great. It's funny, like we was talking about, like them infusing like the foreign, a lot of foreign women in there, and it was gonna be interesting seeing who kind of prevailed out of that because who was the young lady that was who beat Nyla for the title? It was not Io, but
Oh, I couldn't even tell. I'll look it up real fast.
yeah, but when it came to her, I couldn't get into her until she was in the ring with Rio. I couldn't really get into her until she was in the ring. Then immediately when the bell was all like up, completely tuned out. But with Sheeta, like she has a personality. She can and speaking English to a point helps. But she clashes real well with Rose. And they very much told a story in this match. And what was really great, the best callback in the match to me was the kendo stick.
Mm-hmm.
Because so you can see it, because I think it was a couple weeks back this happened between Rose and Sheeta.
All right, let's see what this is. Oh, right on the head. Down goes Sheeta. Down goes Sheeta.
They're like, I found your kendo stick, bitch. And then they did that great callback moment because she started off the match with the kendo, but she never hit her. And then she got her hands on her, but Nala took it away from her. And then she finally got her hands on her. And she did the callback line. I'm a sucker for a good callback. And yeah, just telling that story, like you said, she comes off dominant. Sheeta came off crafty, not necessarily trying to match power for power because she couldn't. But she did what she could, and they did a great job at. One of the benefits to not having the audience is they had a lot of room to play,
Mm-hmm.
um, and stuff. And I think they used the outside and a lot of stuff to their advantage. And like you said, that great line by Rose, always bet on black. Little great moments like that, just showing that she's really, having confidence with this character. And like, if she couldn't keep the title, I mean, it's cool that it's on Sheeta now. Obviously, Nala is even more dangerous in the chase. So, yeah, I thought it was well executed. Not all of her, a lot of her matches have been sloppy, Nala, because stuff has been coming along, and a lot of times chemistry doesn't always click. But I think this is probably one of her better matches. And yeah, I mean, like I said, you got Nala, you got Statlander, you got Cheetah, you got names like Swole. They could put something together here if they just keep it good and keep it consistent and kind of just build off that. But I don't know how much you're gonna get if you keep trying to put Bakers in our face. This really just never gonna work because I feel like that's probably gonna be the next setup thing unless they put Statland in that spot, or Baker's gonna come back and then immediately go after Sheeta. It's like how many opportunities y'all gonna put her in here and then not get it? That's not helping the character either. I'm already not interested. Now she can't win when it counts. So
Yeah, the problem that Britt, I don't like trashing someone. I really don't, unless they're a Nazi fucker. I'm sure Britt Baker's a nice woman, right? Like, she
Yeah.
probably likes watching the dodo. Who doesn't like watching the dodo? All those doggy rescue videos are fucking endearing. She probably likes eating popcorn while watching bad Disney flicks. They're all bad, so that encompasses all of them except for Lilo and Stitch and Emperor's New Groove. They're amazing. She's probably a great girl. Great woman. Probably one hell of a dentist. Granted, I don't need one. I brush my teeth regularly, and I yanked a tooth out of my mouth once, so like I'm good. I'm kind of psychotic that way. That last part really did happen. It was a broken molar from my wisdom teeth, and I just said, fuck it. It started, I pulled it out at the start of this COVID shit. I'm like, I need to go get this removed. And then the dentist office was closed. I'm like, well, I guess I'm doing it myself.
Oh damn it! This was recent. I'm thinking this is years ago.
Oh, no. This is like fucking 2.5 months ago. It's scabbed over nicely. It's healing nicely. No infection. Hey, I'm fucking good at this. I don't know why I am, but I can deal with pain quite well. The only pain I can't deal with, Marcus, and I've told you this before, is like the incessant thumping of tooth pain. Like, that'll ruin me. Like a little ache. I'm done. Snap a femur, I'm good. Break my foot in 14 places, that's fine. Snap a wrist, I'll put some cotton on it. We're good. Little tiny toothache. I don't know why. It's my Achilles heel, my Achilles molar. But I'm sure Britt's a good person. But she's going to suffer as a wrestler because, one, she's not very charismatic. She might be a darling to talk to. But in terms of a performer, she doesn't offer anything that makes me go, I need to see what she says. Like, even with someone who I don't think is very charismatic, like, I don't think Su Yung is a great promo. But I think Su Yung is such a good character actress that she can figure out a way to minimize the amount of things she says and make herself enjoyable. I don't think I've ever heard a Su Yung promo that I thought was great. But I know a lot of moments where Su Yung or Susie has done very minimal on screen, but made it very impactful. Rosemary, on the contrary, is someone who is always talking and is always a delight. Britt doesn't have either of those qualities, at least that I've seen. Maybe that's because of the content given. Maybe that's because of the character they want her to use. Maybe she's so hell-bent on being Dr. Britt Baker that she's kind of losing the forest for the trees. But something's not working with her persona. It's clear. And the more she's getting pushed, the more likely it is that she's going to get rejected. And this comes steadfast from Cody Rhodes, outright saying, I'm going to hire my friends because I believe in nepotism. That's not a paraphrasing comment. That's a quote. It may have been a little out of order, but that's what he said. Shawn Spears, Britt Baker, these are talents that probably shouldn't be on the roster, at the very least shouldn't be on pay-per-view, because you have a lot more other options you can be using. Now, maybe with the COVID, there's a lack of limitation because maybe some guys are stuck in countries. I know a lot of the Japanese women aren't able to make it to the States, or at least not currently. Maybe that's changed. I don't know where Sheeta lives. I thought it was in Japan. Maybe she's been staying in the States since before the outbreak. I don't know. But I do know that they're probably missing a few key crew guys for the roster. Is Pentagon hurt? Is he stuck in Mexico? I don't know, but that's a big name to not have on your roster. And honestly, I'm gonna say this: Phoenix and Pentagon have been poorly used in AEW, mostly because their tag team matches usually are just trash to watch. I'm sorry, I'm never gonna be okay with two guys in the ring making the tag. One needs to be in the corner. Them's the rules. If I'm supposed to believe in this fucking suspension of disbelief, you better be making it work. Otherwise, I'm just going to think you're lazy.
No, you're right. I mean, look, as much as we enjoyed seeing the decimation of Marco's stunt, which ain't really hard to do, he blowing him too hard, you might kill him.
It's literally the only thing he's good for. He's done it 30 times already in a year.
But yeah, those rules were ridiculous. And and Pentagon and Phoenix are better than that. But you're right, they have been misused. I mean, underused, misused. I mean, they got that kick he did against freaking Orange Cassidy was great, but they could be doing so much more with them. Like you said, they could be separate entities and killing it. But if you're gonna have them as a tag team, I think the focus should be at least getting them the straps. Because I think they could really be, setting the standard. Either them or Ortiz and Santana.
Yeah.
And the two of them are killing it in the inner circle, but they could be doing more too.
Part of the problem with Pentagon and Phoenix is they have clashing personalities. Phoenix's entire gimmick is he's the bird that rises from the ashes. He's the miracle man. Look at the wonders he can do. He is something to behold. That's the whole point of the name Phoenix. When we saw him in Lucha Underground, his whole shtick was, yeah, Bill Murtrace has killed me 16 times. I've come back 17 though, and it was impressive. It was awesome. He's done all this daring shit. Just in terms of styles, they're fucking different. Pentagon is maybe the least athletic dude on the roster. That dude doesn't leave the center of gravity at all, which is fine. But then you got Phoenix sitting here like walking on air. Like, okay, you can have the contrast, that's fine. But then you look at the gimmicks and the characters. Pentagon is a demonic ninja that kills bitches. He's literally or used to break arms. Now he's just breaking my heart. Phoenix and Pentagon were literal antithesis of one another. And now they're just two dudes in a mask, and they no longer have individual personalities, and you've ruined them. Pentagon was a main event headliner that people wanted to see because he was brutal. Now he's a dork who doesn't know how to tag.
Yeah, it's one zero fear and the other one zero gravity.
Right. But now they're just two dudes in a mask. Good job, AEW. You really know how to book. Brody Lee and Jon Moxley was all right. It was a thing. I've never enjoyed a Jon Moxley title match in my life. I haven't seen all of them in his defense. But it always seems like once he gets the title, he just kind of forgets. Granted, his title run in WWE was just atrocious because WWE is atrocious. But, I don't know. Did the Brody Lee match land with you?
I will say that I've liked a lot of the stuff that Brody Lee has done with this Exalted One gimmick. Mostly because a lot of it was him mocking Vince. But and I'm pretty sure just like him finally having the creative shackles off is like being born again.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, I really wasn't getting hyped for the match. And I was, and I saw some other people say this, like I was hoping to God that this wasn't the actual main event because it didn't have none of the juice that the actual main event had.
Mm-hmm.
And thankfully it was. But I will say that the effort that they put into the match delivered more than the build to the match for me. And a lot of that has to do with obviously, it kind of took me back to that match. And this is probably his best outing in WWE, aside from some of the stuff he did with the Wyatts, obviously, against the Shield or whatever. Like that ladder match that Lee had with Dolph Ziggler.
Mm-hmm.
That ladder match, that was great. And it kind of took him back to some of those elements. It felt like that was the one time they kind of let him loose. And obviously, we know Moxley is just crazy. So I think that the effort definitely was deliver, but it wasn't. I don't think the match was mind blowing by any means. Moxley, I mean, he's a brawler. You know what you're gonna get with him, but he's not a guy that I'm like, oh, we're about to get another 5-star Moxley match. And to be fair, that's not his character. He's
No.
just trying to win any means necessary. So, um, but yeah, I mean, I think they delivered in terms of definitely effort. Take that away. And then Moxley got the strap back, so it was fine. It was a fine semi-main event.
My problem with Brody Lee comes from my problem with Brian Cage and my problem for a lot of things AEW is doing. They are quite literally the antithesis of what Impact Wrestling was at this time, where Impact was waiting. They waited like almost a year to give Raven his title shot. They waited, 3 years to give Joe a title run. Brian Cage's first match, he's getting a world title match against Jon Moxley, probably on pay-per-view. Brody Lee's first big match, he's losing to Jon Moxley on pay-per-view. What are you doing? How is this helping them? How is feeding them losses right off the bat helping them? And if Moxley loses to Brian Cage, that just hurts Moxley. So I'm very perplexed with this need to rush things in AEW. And it's not just now. Like, one of their first big matches was the Lucha Bros versus the Young Bucks. With very little build and, no real payoff. It just kind of feels like they're living for the highlight reel and not working for the match, if that makes sense. Because, like, the most impressive thing they've done was Dustin and Cody, but that was over the course of a year before the promotion even founded. That was fucking 5 years in the making.
Yeah, and then, I mean, and just with the relationship that they've kind of had, because, and I think they said this, I mean, I think they've got close as the years have gone on. They've become, they're separate men, and specifically with their dad no longer being there.
Well, they're 20 years apart in age.
Yeah, that too. And they just went, besides the age gap, they just went on separate paths.
Mm-hmm. They had different mothers.
Like
Cody lived in Texas for a good chunk of his life. So, I get it, and it makes sense. But when you look at some of the other matches, it's just like, Jon Moxley and Brody Lee had like, what, 6 weeks of build-up? 7 weeks of build-up?
Yeah. And I said all that to say, like, there was, even if that wasn't a year in the making, quote unquote, there's just so much
history,
meat on that bone. Mm-hmm. Yeah, meat on that bone. The cook. That's why those promos back and forth were so good. But with that, a lot of times, and the fans have been trained like this too. If it's a dream, quote unquote, perceived dream match, it doesn't need build.
Which is
trash. Know what I'm saying? Like, it's a dream, like the Lucha Bros versus the Young Bucks, and you know what you're gonna get from that, and that's kind of the point. But again, like, even as much as lightning in the bottle as Shawn and Angle had, they at least had some stuff stemming all the way from the Rumble.
Mm-hmm. And so, they put in a lot of, and here's the difference with that. You're right. You're 100% right about Shawn and Angle. But the big difference with that is Kurt Angle wasn't in the company for 2 months. He had been there for 5 years. So you can do Shawn and Angle and have Shawn or Angle win because they've been around. They've been world champions. They've been brand holders. Brody Lee's been here 8 weeks. He's been in a feud with Jon Moxley for 7. What? It makes no sense. Like, this booking is literally just Cody going, all right, who wants to win tonight? Cody, you got a terrible neck tattoo. Your decision-making is suspect at best. Stop. Clearly someone else needs to be booking the shit.
I can just see you being like his overboss, and every time he looks at you to see if he made a bad decision, that you're just tapping the area on your neck where his tat is to let him know it's bad.
With a slight little shake of the head. Just tapping the neck with shaking the head. So I do have some issues with that. And let's get to the Stadium Stampede. I know you love this.
Yeah.
You love the hell out of this. There were things I liked about it. Firstly, I like that it wasn't cinematic.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking hate cinematic. Y'all had 2017 and 2016. Y'all did cinematic then. Broken Hearty and all. End it. It's never going to be as good as it was. It's all retreads. Fucking end it. You're done. This was not. So that was great.
Mm-hmm.
And that's about where I stop. I like the Matt Hardy stuff, even though it was corny as shit, because I don't know why I'm a mark for V1 nah. Matt Hardy, V1 nah. So, like, that was great.
Oh God.
But, like, there was no strategy. Like, and at one point, what do they even call it? Pride and Powerful? Santana and Ortiz?
Yeah.
They're literally fighting one dude. No one thought, let's just gang tackle him, hold him down, and get the 3 count? Again. Logic.
Yeah, that's it's funny how many times we talked about suspension of disbelief tonight, because I feel like that's definitely something you have to have here. And with me, for me, a lot of times I'm all about the ridiculous stuff, as long as you, again, I always say this all the time, commit.
Yeah.
That whole movie with Batman Forever could have just been Riddler and the Joker.
Yeah.
I mean, Riddler and Two-Face going back and forth. Perfect.
Yeah.
Because to me, a lot of times it's the level of committance, and nobody commits more to something like the ridiculousness of the whole Matt Hardy saga of it all.
Right.
So that was great. The whole matter of fact thing, phenomenal. Freaking Ortiz, I can't swim. I can't freaking swim. Is that down? Stop being a pendejo.
The best part was when they brought up the matter of fact, the throwback to the Mattitude gimmick. They brought up the matter of fact,
Yeah.
and both of them looked where it was.
That if nothing else in this match was good, that one thing made it all work. For him to go under with a coat on, come back up with a shirt on, and just like him going through his whole just era
Evolution.
of his evolution, just phenomenal stuff. Yeah, I mean, freaking this Ortiz is just 100% cat nuts now, and I love it. Yeah, I mean, some stuff like the Adam Page thing is kind of annoying / not annoying. Like the whole thing about him, and I feel like
Well, I want to
talking
get there
about tele-
because I have a lot
Yeah.
to say about that. What I want to say though is they drown Matt Hardy, right? There's a referee right next to them, right? Why didn't they pull his dead body out of the water and pin him? I think of wrestling like a TV show. Everything needs to have an establishing shot and a segue. If you had done that entire shtick and then you put Matt Hardy on the land to pin him, and then fucking Kenny Omega comes flying out of nowhere, okay, that works. But for them to just leave him makes no sense. You could win the match right there. Like, that's like Jordan taking on LeBron, getting a 21-point lead, and then going, I'll let you have the next 20 shots.
And I'm glad you brought that point up, particularly because if there was, I mean, I enjoyed the hell out of this thing. Like I caught myself smiling and laughing a lot with this whole thing. But if there was anything that took me out of the match, it was the missed opportunity, mostly on the faces side, to get pins that weren't taken. Like, because mostly it was the heels the dominating, and then they were getting clearly taking more opportunities to get pins. But like you said, they could have that drowning thing. That was a sticky point, and had they not done any of that Matt stuff, that would have been super stupid for them to drown him and then leave him there and not pin him. But Matt could have pinned him, could have went for a pin after he like body dropped him on Santana through the table. He didn't do it. And some other instances that we'll eventually get to. But I feel like had they evened that out more on both sides, particularly with a from yard to yard moment.
Oh, we'll get to that.
We'll get to that. But I feel like that's the one thing that took me out of it, because I'm sitting back like, right there, freaking that perfect opportunity right there, and I'm sitting there like this is a real NFL game or something. Somebody saw open wide receiver and didn't take the throw. So, but yeah, that took me out of it a lot.
Well, like think about it like this: you and I are both fans of the first 5 seasons of Arrow. We don't claim the rest. Imagine a fight scene between Green Arrow and Slade Wilson, right? They're going at it, bada, bada, bada. Slade kicks Oliver through a window, and then Slade jumps down. Then all of a sudden, Roy Harper's there. What? What? Why? That makes no sense. It takes you out of the goddamn scene. But wrestlers don't think like that because they think, oh, well, fans will just take whatever shit we give them. And it's insulting. You could easily have done like any time there was a face about to get a pin, he's about to beat the guy up. You could have had let's say Kenny Omega's in the middle of the ring and he's beating down the guy. He's like and then you could have heard someone screaming help, and then Kenny looks up and Chris Jericho and Ortiz are about to dunk Nick Jackson into a shark tank. Okay, then Kenny doesn't take the pin and he goes and saves his friend. Those are not hard things to come up with. They're easy transitions that explain why someone didn't take the pin. Because instinctually, when you see someone about to get hurt that you care about, you usually abandon all plans to help them. Those are natural, instinctual things that every human being knows or feels, at least should. So, it's not hard to write in a little idea as to why someone doesn't get a pinfall at that moment. But they don't think that far ahead. They only think of, let's do this dumb spot, or this will be funny. They don't think about the important things that make a good moment legendary. This match will be talked about for a good few weeks, but no one's going to talk about it in a year.
Yeah, well, I think that really sums it up in a really great and I guess bad way at the same time, because what was clear, all 10 of these men was having the time of their life.
Yes, this was a lot of fun for them to shoot, and it was obvious because it didn't make any sense.
Yeah, and it was a complete cluster. And I think it was Schiavone that said they were supposed to have 20 cameras, only had 18. And I would imagine this wasn't the easiest thing to shoot. Like, this was all over the place. Like you said, one of the best things, and hats off to them for doing this and not having it cinematic, because a lot of this was on them in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And stuff. So that's great. But yeah, that was, that where it got sacrificed. There was a lot of moments where like the spot was more important than the logic of just winning the match. So.
Yeah, and whenever you sacrifice logic for a spot, what you end up doing is just basically saying, here's the sugar, don't worry about the rest of the meal. Instead of sitting down to have the best steak dinner of your life, you with the cheesy mashed potatoes, you got, garlic green beans, and you got a soup coming, you got the best steak ever. Here's the piece of chocolate cake. You don't get to have any of the other enjoyment, you just get the chocolate cake. And chocolate cake is quick. It runs through you. It has no lasting effects besides bad ones, and it just kind of conditions you to eventually hate chocolate, if that's all you eat.
Yeah.
And that's what this match was. It was chocolate cake.
Yeah, and to their credit, there were moments where, and I did like this, because like you said, it's only logical that this is a team effort, so you see a party potentially getting pinned, you break what you're doing to go interrupt that. And they did have moments of that, but it just wasn't consistent enough. It was more sporadic, which, again, was taking you in and out of it, and this had to be a match, no pun intended, you had to be all in with or not. So
this is part of the problem with doing a match like this. Clearly, they didn't want to do a lot of takes. This probably took 2 hours to film, maybe. Yeah. And they probably planned it all out ahead of time. But there was so much to do and so much chaos, they couldn't keep track of all of it. And if that's the case, don't do it. If that's the case, don't do it. Because while this may have been a match that a lot of, interweebs really loved, I guarantee you this match turned off a lot of people. So let's get to my first real big issue. So this is a blood feud, right? That's what it was sold to me. I haven't watched the show in months. But Tony Schiavone, Tony Schiavone, Jim Ross and Excalibur talked about how this was a blood feud. In fact, the voiceover said something to the extent like, this war won't be civil. This civil war won't be civil, or something to that effect. So it's a war. These 10 men hate each other. Blood, guts, violence, venom. It's going to be a bloodbath. Instead, Jericho's yelling about fucking goddamn instant replay, which never existed in wrestling before, but tonight it did. When did that become a thing? I get it. You had the equipment there. Let's do a funny. Fucking stupid. Whoever thought that was stupid. If it was Jericho, you're fucking stupid. Adam Page, who's supposed to hate these guys, that's why he's here. He's here to fight. Doesn't show up on time, but then runs in on a horse. Okay, that's kind of cool, but then doesn't do anything when he gets the horse? What? And then he's walking around the fucking arena looking for someone to fight when everyone's in the middle of the goddamn field? What? And then he finds Jake Hager, apparently. I don't know when that fucking happened. I didn't see that shot. They're sitting at a bar together. They hate each other, but they're drinking together. What? You literally put the voiceover. It's not going to be a civil war. It's going to be violent. And it was anything but violent. Like, the most insane spot came at the end when Kenny Omega took fucking... What douchebag was it? Was it Ortiz, Santana, Guevara, Jericho? I don't even fucking remember.
It was Guevara.
So he takes Guevara and he jumps off the lower bowl onto this obvious crash pad. And I'm like, oh no, you fell into an airbag. So violent. Who the fuck wrote this? It's a war. It's not supposed to be a fucking crash test dummy playset. This match was fucking dumb.
Yeah, Chad's summation of the match. This was Chuck E. Cheese for fucking adults.
It was. Oh my god, that's accurate. Like, they were trying to be silly and fun. Look how much fun we're having. Oh my god, we're having so much fun. But it was built to be a war. It was booked to be a war. I was told it was going to be a war. Instead, it was 10 dudes playing slap ass and patty cake. Ooh, what a time. Dude, like, imagine going and getting fucking Mike Tyson versus Lennox Lewis, and instead they're playing chess. I'd bite someone's ear off at that point.
Yeah, I mean, look, and I'm gonna get off into it here, and trust me, nothing I say is gonna deter Chad's point about this was supposed to be a war.
My rage is burning. Again, Marcus knows not to try to temper it.
I already know. We didn't even need to be friends a year for me to know it. But
it's been like what, 5 years almost? 4 years?
Yeah.
God damn.
He's like our anniversary is coming up. Oh,
it might be.
But yeah, I mean, with this whole thing, like it's really interesting, like the Page stuff and the whole thing with him. And again, like I said, nothing I'm saying is gonna
if you liked anything that I didn't like, Marcus, you know that's fine. Like I'll never be like, you're dumb. No, like no. I know who I am.
Oh no, I 100% get it. I actually like when we had these conversations because we always end up meeting back up in the middle.
Yeah, we eventually find some kind of middle ground. Like we'll both go, yeah, the horse was pretty.
And I'm gonna get to that point because they clearly tried to get as many shots as they could to justify what they probably had to pay for that horse.
They did.
I'm sitting there. I'm like, first off, to kick it off with Paige, I've been very indifferent with this whole thing with Paige because this whole cowboy shit gimmick that he's got, he's with these guys, but the relationship between him and the Bucks have been deteriorating because they've not been seeing eye to eye with him because he very much gets on this cowboy shit when he drinks, and it's messing up the dynamic. So he's been at odds with the Bucks. He's been teaming with Kenny, and Kenny's kind of been trying to play the peacemaker. So anytime something comes up, Paige is half-assed. Like he's with him, but he's basically with him on his terms and not how they need him to be. So that's how you get him showing up late on a freaking horse.
So he's an alcoholic.
Like, basically.
Oh, that's fantastic. Good job, AEW.
He's a wino. So he's basically, which is why he went to the bar when he got off the horse. But yeah, the whole thing, he looks so stupid.
I do want to jump in real fast because that's not something to be promoting. You know what I mean? Like, there's a study that says like 40% of America is clinically designated as alcoholics. We have a drinking problem in this country. We shouldn't be fucking glorifying it. Like, the idea that Adam Page was going to show up and go to a bar in the middle of a fucking war is just trash because it shows that he's a fucking alcoholic. That's not something that we're supposed to be bragging about, you know? Oh, he had to get his drink. Marcus, if you and I were in the middle of a street fight, I'm not bailing on you to get a shot of Jack Daniels and then come back on, you all right? Because that would make me an alcoholic, and that would make me a shitty person for leaving you behind. So, like, Kenny, like, I said Kenny, I'm an Adam Page. Like, this whole Adam Page gimmick sucks. And by the by, there weren't cowboys in Virginia. So I don't know when Adam Page became a cowboy, but he ain't ever been in cowboy territory. He was born in Virginia. He's a cavalier at best. And I don't see him being fancy, so he can't even be a cavalier.
Well, Almost, but it's almost like I'd rather him come out with a bandana and an actual damn horse than his usual noose.
Right.
Uh, his usual noose, like none of this stuff has been working. But and I think a lot of it has to do with his straight babyface run clearly didn't work. But I think because this is resonating with their crowd, they're going with it. And the whole alcohol of it is, kind of like, well, we're not glorifying. It's like to you, but that's not gonna come off like that to everybody, specifically people who have lost people to that disease and or drunk drivers or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's a wrap with that. But yeah, I just it's been a like a back and forth thing with me because um I'm not really into Page like that, and the whole cowboy thing I don't get it. Like he either gonna finally turn on these guys, which obviously they probably gonna pull the trigger on. Maybe once they get start back getting crowds with this. Um, but it's like to me, this whole thing is holding the tag title scene up when it could be on Tried and Powerful or the freaking Lucha Bros. But again, um, freaking bless Guevara. He's one of the MVPs of this whole thing to me. Um, because I think they went for, and we're gonna get to that bar moment because I think I know exactly what they tried to rip off with the alcohol thing. Him coming with the horse was, I'm like, what the fuck is this? And then they did the thing. They made it work for me when he was trying to chase down Guevara. They ruined it for me when he's literally going around the hallways calling out Guevara like he's gonna pop out and be like, hey, like I don't give a damn. Like he damn sure ain't gonna show up behind you on a horse.
Okay. Now, okay. Hang on. If they did that, I would have taken everything back.
But you can't take it back. He's dead.
Like if Adam Page is on a horse and then all of a sudden you just hear wow 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 and then Page turns around and Guevara's on a black horse. All right, best match ever.
And this is where we had meet in the middle. I'm invested in this ridiculousness. He's like, okay, now I can invest in that bullshit as long as I inject my bullshit.
See, like here's the thing. When you talk about ridiculousness, there's a large difference. Like, if you don't have any at all, that's preferable. But if you're going to go ridiculous, there is a line of demarcation you need to cross for me to be into it. This was still too serious for this to be a thing. So let's say you needed 10 gallons of ridiculousness. This was 8.5. So like you were almost there. Like
I got you.
when you like anything Shikara is like 12 and up, in terms of gallons of ridiculousness. So like anything they do, I'm like, all right, fine, yeah, that'll work, because I'm buying into the lap of the ridiculousness. But like I said, they tried to sell this as a real fight, as an authentic gang warfare kind of situation, and it was anything but. It was a comedy match to the highest order, and I don't know how anyone can argue against that.
And again, those long shots with him in the hallway, I'm not sitting there like the only reason why they clearly doing it, they clearly are trying to get their money's worth off this damn horse. Beautiful, beautiful beast, beautiful animal. And thankfully he didn't act up. I mean, obviously, clearly trained.
I was worried about that, honestly.
Yeah, me too. That's why I was like, I was like, your cowboy shit could blow up in your face if this horse is just on one tonight. But clearly they tried to take that whole thing because Hager just got free and then went looking for Paige. And it wasn't until you said it that I'm like, oh my God, they tried to take the Switzerland scene from John Wick when they meet up in the hotel that they can't fight at.
Yeah, I could see them doing that. And that would have worked if there was some kind of rule, like as soon as you leave the stadium grounds, like the grass, you cannot fight. If that was the thing where Paige like ran into the bar looking for Guevara, but ran into Swagger instead, or Hager, and he's just like, he just kind of shrugs and like tosses him a beer and sits there, and he's drinking his, and they're like, when we walk out that door, it's gonna be hell, and you expect it, and then they do it. All right, cool, but again, there was like nothing to set that up, and I agree with you. That's probably what they were doing, but it was just them going, oh, here's a good idea. How about someone come up with a great idea and connect this shit? Because you got 38 cool shots and no story. We like to call that the transporter films.
No, you're not wrong. I'm the transporter. Like, yeah, we know. Here comes the kidnapped girl who could basically double as the daughter of Liam Neeson from the freaking the freaking Bad Pan movie that's become the Taken films.
Yes, the Taken. Taken 1 and
The
Transport 1 were great, but the franchise is just...
Shout out to Ryan Reynolds. They're like, when are we just gonna concede the fact that the man's clearly just a bad father? Cause franchise and your whole family just keep getting kidnapped. Like, what the freak is this?
You're not wrong.
He sucks as a dad. But yeah, like you said, it just got to a point where you kind of just had to forget the whole blood war thing, and it just became a bunch of guys who allegedly hate each other united to pull off segmented cool moments, either taken from like randomness of their characters or movie stuff, like Hager sliding Hangman across the bar, like it, it was a lot. It was a lot. But again, it's easy for me to fall down these rabbit holes. Than I guess other people, but yeah, it's like I said, Sammy Guevara. To me, it was Guevara and Hardy as the MVPs, just because I felt like they did the most.
Mm-hmm.
With like you said, this became basically like you said it earlier in the show about chasing the highlight reel, if you will.
Yeah.
And I feel like they got all the highlight moments.
Yeah, they got tons of memeable highlight moments, and none of it will ever make sense if you watch it in order. The biggest fucking thing that pissed me off was Matt Jackson finally did something cool for the first time in his balding career. He did that the Northern Lights suplexes.
Yeah.
And what we're made to assume is that he did it across the length of the field over 100 yards, because he's actually started in the end zone, not at the 100-yard line. So it was over 100 yards. And we were supposed to believe that he went end to end in one continuous loop of him doing a Northern Lights suplex. And he finishes it with no one around him. He just slammed him, let's say at least 20 times. You should be able to win on that one there, kid. No pinfall. So that pissed me off. Secondly, we were interjected with this, what would have been a cool-ass moment of watching a dude go 100 yards doing a move over and over and over and over again, with Chris Jericho throwing Nick Jackson against the wall going, I'm Chris Jericho. Like, who directed this? Because they need to be fired. Like, it's like having the Undertaker coming out of WrestleMania's entrance. Like, you got that smoke, you got the lightning, you got the torches, and now we're looking at some dude picking a booger. Even better example, because it happened. It's like watching Roman Reigns' face when AJ Styles debuts in the WWE. That director should have been fired on the spot. But instead, what we got was maybe the coolest moment in wrestling history chopped up in 3 bits. So, more than likely, they didn't go 100 yards. They maybe went 15. And thanks to camera editry, we were told that they went 100 yards. And that's the shit that pisses me off.
No, you're 100% right. And again, another missed opportunity, because he should have pinned him. Like, because you bridging him the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Bridge him and stick handing on the last one, even if you're exact. And okay, if you kick out after 100 yards, because that's the thing. You should be exhausted.
Yeah, they weren't.
100% exhausted to pass out. Like but it's still like, but again, by the time you get to this point, and again, the fan base is probably like, oh my God, it's whatever. But you're right. I mean, it's one of those things. First of all, to do a wide, because they could have did the shot of that with a
drone
with Vanguard 1. Yeah, a drone. Yeah, a drone, and did the whole thing, and that would have been sick. But again, like you said, they chopped it up and were told that he did it and didn't do it, and then he didn't pin him either. So it's moments like that, like you said, you hated I know you hated the referee call, the flag review of the play.
Yeah, the review of the play was fucking stupid, because it's never happened before, ever. Like, there's never been a review in wrestling history. And for again, this is supposed to be the head referee, Aubrey. I don't know her last name. I keep wanting to call her Aubrey Plaza. Aubrey. I almost had it. God damn it, I lost it. Aubrey Richards. I don't know.
Is it
Aubrey Edwards?
Is it Edwards?
I have no idea. Her name's Aubrey. That's about all I know. She in one instance started a match when both competitors weren't there. That's kind of illegal in a wrestling sense. You need both wrestlers to ring the bell. That's literally what we've been taught all these years. And then she's reviewing a play that she has no right to be reviewing. Is she terrible at her job? Yes, I think she is. This is what I mean about AEW. They are sacrificing the credibility for highlights. This is why I can't get into this garbage. I came in tonight going, if I like this show, I'm coming back, Tuesday, Wednesday, and I'm back into it. God, it made me hate it even more. And I'm not some WWE fanboy. But,
no, you're
this
not,
is nonsense.
Because you had your, I mean, you talked about how you felt about the Boneyard match.
Oh, God, that was garbage.
It's funny because, like, a highlight moment, because obviously we booked a moment in this. Like, what Chad was getting at, like, if the thing ridiculous was at an 80, he needed it to be at 100 to make sense. So if that match was at 80, and then they introduced the Druids, which really made no sense. But we booked the thing where it would have made sense, like do a flashback or something in the midst of it, because you already gone at that point, where Anderson and Gallo go find these decrepit druids, because they clearly have been out of consistent work, because the Undertaker only works once a year, and when he does, he ain't really. So they literally have been out of work.
They're out of work now. COVID's hitting. Now they don't have a chance to work.
They gotta take a chance.
They can't do their usual funeral processions.
Exactly. They out of shape, so carrying the casket is hard now. Like, it's so now they either bribing them with booze or vagina. We played out the skit. You how much that would have worked, and then Chad asked her, so we agree to this? That would have been perfect. That almost would have made that entire match, because it made no sense. All of a sudden, the Druids turn on him because Taker's talking now. Like, what? That made no sense. Where did you even get the Druids from? Why do you not still have control over your Druids?
Druids are us. They went out of business. That's how they got them. On the cheap. It's the biggest problem that I have with that match and this one comes from the fact that, the Boneyard match is built up to be this serious thing. Like, the Undertaker's here to bury AJ Styles alive and kill him. And then we get all these silly moments like the Druids randomly popping out for no reason. Like, what? And this match, built to be a serious thing. And instead it was just a car crash. Now, if you come into this going, the winner of this is going to get a special trophy and no one knows what's going to happen. And there's going to be dumb stuff to worry about. And then everyone's like, I don't know about this. This sounds dumb. And whoever's ever booking the match is like, yeah, that's the point. It's going to be stupid. And then you give me this. Okay. I'm in. You've set the narrative that this is going to be dumb. This isn't some blood feud. This is stupid. It's the stupid match, and you're booking it to be stupid. I can then go, I like stupid. Let's get into this. Good kind of one-to-one comparison. It's like going to see Avengers Endgame.
Mm-hmm.
And instead you end up getting Bridges to Madison County. You're sold on this final war epic, but instead it's a 2.5-hour period piece where Chris Evans is trying to seduce Scarlett Johansson. No one's going to be happy about that. Or even better one. It's like going to see Justice League thinking Zack Snyder directed it, but it actually was directed by Joss Whedon. You did not deliver on what you promised me. If you'd promised me it was going to be trash, terrible, stupid, I'm fine with that. I can get into that. If you tell me it's going to be super serious in a war, and you don't give it to me, I'm going to be super mad.
That's such a perfect example, because we got Zack Snyder trailers and a Whedon movie.
Right? Like, don't tell me you're taking me to a steakhouse and it's vegans are us. Like, I'm good. I'm not going to be happy with you. You tell me you're taking me to a vegan place, I'll try it. But don't lie to me. And I feel very lied to be honest. So, yeah, that's why this match just blows in my mind, because I thought it was going to be some war. Instead, it was just fucking bunch of kids playing games, which is fine. Some of it was funny. But it was not what you promised, AEW.
No, man, that's a really good point. I mean, obviously, people will argue with it, but it's like you sell it as one thing, it's supposed to be that. Like the match with and we praise this segment all the time. Like when Brock and Taker was clashing, I'm gonna kill you. You're gonna have to. Like that.
Those two dudes move as well as a swordfish on sand. And that one line alone made me want to watch that match. And I was fine with it because it was great. Because it was two dudes who seemed like they hated each other. Especially when like Undertaker sat or Brock sat up or whatever it was, and then Taker sat up and started laughing at him. Like, oh my god, I was into that. I was like, oh, these two dudes legit hate each other, and I know they don't. They're actually really good friends. But like, I was buying into it. I was like, oh, this is great. The match was terrible. Like, if you look at it objectively, like Brock can't move, Taker can't sell, but they were just beating the shit out of each other. And I'm like, all right, I don't give a shit about work rate at this point. Fucking go, just fucking go.
And the Brock's credit, 9 times out of 10, even if he's not trying, he's killing somebody anyway.
Right. So like, you know, it's that negligent homicide that comes with Brock Lesnar. With every Brock Lesnar action figure comes one negligent homicide charge. So, you know, this match was what it was. Was there any other moments that you thought were a highlight that you wanted to give praise to, or?
No, like I said, I think MVPs goes to Guevara and Matt. It was cool to see they brought another Vanguard back. But yeah, that was but I was pretty much in the mascot moment was cool. But again, that was just a little thing. Other than that, like I said, this one of those things where you either all in or all out of. Pun intended, not intended. And if for nothing else, the fact that I know that this is going to probably make Jim Cornette's head blow off.
You know, I'll pay attention to that rant. I won't agree with anything he says because, like, for me, it's not an issue of this existing. It's an issue of this being executed. Jim Cornette will be like, this is the dumbest thing. It should never exist. That's where me and Cornette differ slightly, severely. Is like, if you give me this, just present it to me like it's going to be some clusterfuck. It's going to be funny. It's going to be silly. Don't tell me it's going to be an uncivil war. You know, like that shit pisses me off. And like the thing is, like, I know if I were to tell Cody Rhodes to his face, that was terrible. You did a terrible thing. You pissed people off. He's going to say, shit, and just like I shrug because he knows that he fucking, you know, misled people with the promo for what we got. It's like saying it's going to be, you know, war games and they just end up shooting each other with Nerf guns. I'm not against that. That'd be funny as fuck. But don't tell me it's going to be a war then, you know? So
yeah, and to be fair too, you might not even get to that point because y'all still be bickering over his neck tat. But
oh, there's no bickering. It's terrible, and he knows it. His wife even agrees with me.
And yeah, but over and under, did you also feel like, I mean, you talked about it with the whole delete and decay of it all, but did you feel like that with that delete and decay match, preferably that moment, the match that had the sodomized moment in it?
Which one?
It had to be the last one. Because when the guy
one for Bound for Glory with Abyss and Crazy Steve.
Yeah, because it had to be the one of the last ones because the guy came back in the truck because apparently they sodomized him.
Oh, that's right.
Nobody sodomized me and gets away with it. Still one of the all-time greatest things to ever come out of that.
I think at that point, I was just happy that Impact wasn't dead.
Yeah.
So like any good, like very realistically, the only reason that I wasn't so against it was because it was some of the only positive comments that the company was getting. But did I enjoy those? No, not really.
Yeah.
The first one I appreciate because it was so different because I you know, this kind of like scripted wrestling, like the I fucking forget what it's called now. The cinematic wrestling isn't new. You know, we've but it's been so long since anyone's tried it that it feels new. Yeah. It's been 40 years or so. But like seeing it like with the first time was kind of funny, and then like, you know, you had the Lake of Reincarnation, and like most of it was the memes that came out of like the Lake and Reincarnation, the way he says, you know, just the dumb shit like Brother Nero, I knew you'd come, like that's dumb, and I like it.
Yeah, it's over.
But it eventually became to the point where that was the only thing driving the product, and it became a thing where literally there was a rumor that Billy Corgan wanted to turn Impact into that kind of wrestling. And that's when I was like, hard no.
Yeah.
Because this is good to get eyes on the product, but I don't want this to be the product. I want this to be the catalyst for why people come back. So, no, I don't think I've ever truly enjoyed this. I think the one that I enjoyed the most may have been the first one. But I did like the part where that redneck rolls up on, like, I think it was like Crazy Stephen Rosemary, and he's like, sodomize me. That was funny as fuck. And I did like the part where Jeff Hardy turned into Itchweed. I thought that was dumb and funny because, like, Dude, like you got to be like old school 2004 Hardy DVD fan to remember Itch Tweet. So I was like, that's a good callback.
Oh man.
So yeah, I'm very like I said this before. I like Impact, but and Impact will probably always be like my number one stunner, if you will, even if it's not
Yeah.
always like the best. But the thing that I vibe with the most is MLW. Because they have like ratings, they have standings, that they have rules that make sense, but it's still a wrestling event. Like it's still pro wrestling, but it's kind of one of those things where like that to me is very much what I want wrestling to be again. Where it's maybe not everywhere, but maybe one or two promotions have it, and and I like NWA. Like I like the old schoolness because you get like 2 or 3 minute matches, 4 minute matches sometimes. So when someone goes 15 minutes, that means something.
Yeah.
So like there are like examples of different wrestling I like, but this was just this is the perfect example. This is like the perfect statement. AEW's I have the hiccups. The AEW Stadium Stampede is literally the cool kids doing cool things to make other people think they're cool. Because it served no purpose. You didn't advance anything. You didn't end anything. It was just dumb. There's too much silliness in this for me to take it seriously. And now I don't think that anyone looked good after this, especially Sammy Guevara, who ended up going into a fucking crash pad. And he's the one who needed the most work to be built up. So that's my final thoughts on the match. Marcus, do you have anything else you want to comment on?
No, man. It was a show, and look, if for nothing else, if the show got people out of the funk that has been this week in wrestling, and kudos to Private Party for doing the G9, which was a great shout out to Crime Time, and I know that for Sheeta that win was very emotional for her because I think she was close to the young lady, so stuff like that. But yeah, I think this got a lot of people out of the funk that has been this week. Shout out to Swish. He don't oftentimes, tweet out like he did, but I know it hit different when he, So if you got people on that funk, then at least it got that,
I'm going to be the guy in the corner going, yeah, I guess, because I don't disagree with you. I just wish that what we had gotten to get people out of the funk was something better. But I also think kind of in a retrospect kind of an idea, and I said this when Heath Ledger died. I wonder if how much of his win at the Oscars was because he passed away. And people can't say, well, that's me. We've literally seen it 1,000 times before. Rey Mysterio won a world title because his best friend died. Literally. That's the only reason why he did it. So it's not out of the realm of possibility to think that Heath Ledger got a nice little bump because he passed away, because it does happen. And I wonder if this match got the bump it did because people wanted something to get them out of the funk. You know what I mean? Not in a negative way. Like, people sometimes will eat certain things to make them feel better. They'll go, and do a certain workout to make them feel better. They'll watch something to make them feel better. Whatever it takes to help you get out of a funk, I'm fine with, as long as it's not destructive. And if this was something to help you get out of the funk, great. I'm glad it did. Genuinely. But I wonder if that desire to have something get you out of the funk is why so many people liked it. You know what I mean?
No, I mean, you want to know that's 100% a great point, because like you was you do that relationships, like it was you was with a bad person that had great sex, and you view the whole relationship through the prism of that the sex, because nothing else in your life was working.
Why you got to get so personal with me? Because that one hit home.
I was using somebody else, but but yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, and I think you spoke to this earlier. We humanize people when they're living and then idolize them when they die.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's we need to work on that too, because a lot of times people like they overshoot their mark a lot of times, or like give over credit people when they pass, because of the immediate sentiment that's all flooding in at once. Like I seen somebody was like, they need to go ahead and give Chad the Warrior Award.
Yeah.
It's like that, and not to detract from the man at all, but it's like what I'm saying, because
Shad specifically, maybe because he did give his life to save his sons. Like that one, okay, but like in general, I get what you mean. Like we don't need to go. Like think about like when R. Kelly's gonna die. There's going to be a lot of people like, we should probably build him a statue. No, we're good. We're good. You know, or like when Jimmy Snuka died, there's a lot of people like, rest in peace, Jimmy Snuka. You mean like how Nancy Argentino, rest in peace? No, we're good. We're good. I'm not going to sit here and send Tamina hate that, hey, your father died, you should fucking cower in a corner because he's a scumbag. Because that's your father. You know, like, even if your father's a bad dude, that's still your parent. So, like, there's a line, like, I'm not going to sit here and be like, Tamina, you don't have a right to mourn your dad, but I'm also not going to be sitting here going, well, he needs a statue. No. So I agree with you. Like, sometimes, like, we do erase the blemishes to try to make ourselves feel better about death. Death is scary, it's awful, and it comes for us all. But that doesn't mean we got to lie about it.
Yeah, and when it comes to the WWE at all, and when I brought up the Warrior specifically with Shaq, something like that should go to him for what he did. But we talked about the Warrior. Well, first of all, didn't Warrior come up with it, and they didn't even follow the criteria he set for why it should be a thing in the first place?
Right. It was supposed to go to people backstage who helped produce the show that no one
that
knew
oftentimes don't get credit. Yeah, don't get the credit they deserve. But oftentimes WWE, they'll go with somebody for the publicity of it. Like they'll go like with a very well known Make-A-Wish person or something like that. And I would hate for them to give that to somebody like Shad in a disingenuous way to get the publicity off of, because I don't even know if they would have mentioned it on their program had not so many of the people in the company said something about it on Twitter. Like I can't trust the genuineness of them when it comes to that, because they have such a poor history with the Hall of Fame in general, but also in how they move with PR. So
I'm gonna say something that's gonna be very ugly about the WWE, but I think it's gonna be 100% true. If Shad hadn't saved his son and been a hero, I don't think they would have mentioned his death at all. We've seen them not reference people before. We've seen them reference bigger names than Shad Gaspard before. We've seen them ignore the deaths of big names before. Yeah. But they will take an opportunity for any good publicity that they can get. That's just who they are. They're trash people. They are a trash organization ran by a trash family. Maybe Triple H, I don't want to throw Triple H into that, because Triple H does seem to have a lot more camaraderie with a lot of guys than I ever thought he did.
Yeah.
But Vince and Stephanie, I think they're soulless scumbags that honestly should be held up for a lot of charges. So, and to the point where they never see the light of day, because I think they are that terrible of a family. We've seen too much of Vince McMahon. And here's the thing. Yeah, Hitler was pretty bad, right? But Ava Braun married the fucker. She's just as bad. Yeah, Vince McMahon did a lot of terrible shit. Stephanie's let him, though. She's publicly and privately let him do all the terrible shit he's done. Not just even in a bad wrestling theory kind of aspect, but he's been accused of rape twice. He covered up the Ring Boy scandal in the 80s, or at least tried to. Dude, maybe, possibly, according to Jimmy Snuka himself, covered up the murder of Nancy Argentino. What else has that scumbag done? And look at his friends. I mean, you are who you associate with. Like, Marcus, if you knew me and you saw me hanging out with a bunch of KKK guys, I'm like, I'm not racist. I just have racist friends. You would think I'm pretty fucking racist. I mean, it would make sense. It's a 1-to-1. It's a simple jump. It's not even a jump. It's a step.
It's almost worse, because it's like the worst thing in this world ain't, like the crimes we see, like it's the crimes that go on and nobody says anything about it. So you basically, what these people are about, and then you know me, and you're like, oh no, man, they're racist. I'm not. I'm like, okay, so I'm pretty sure they're riding off down the street to a Baptist church. Like, yeah, but I'm not with them.
The cross is going. It's going to a church, Marcus. It's an all-black church, but it's going to a church.
They're not going to make a donation.
Well, they are. Anyway. They are. They just happen to bring their donation with lighter fluid in a match.
Oh, God.
So, like, it's one of those things, like, I think that family is genuinely scumbags. Like, I don't have anyone in my family that bad. Like, honestly. I got some annoying bitches, and I got some, like, really hoity-toity, high-end, like, religious bitches that I just... You're done talking. You're done talking, Aunt, whatever your name is. But, like, I don't have any racists that I'm aware of, right? But I do have some family members that have troubles, but I try to help them. I don't want to be the guy who's like, oh, no, you got troubles, go fuck yourself. No, I want to be there for you. I want to help you. But if I knew one of these troubles, like diddling little kids or, like, beating up black people because they're black, I'd be like, hey, here's a cement container. Why don't you stick your head in there? No, don't worry about it. Just kind of just breathe it in. Just breathe it in. Because that shit doesn't fly with me. But I'm also of the mindset that, joking aside, I think you can help a lot of people get away from their hate and anger. I've told you about the guy who converted a bunch of KKK dudes, and he's this black R&B, or I think he's a black jazz musician. And he's converted like 40 dudes from the KKK. That's what we should be doing. Bringing them back to the sides of reality and not bigotry. But in the case of Vince McMahon, it's like you're 77. There's no time for that. You can do your deathbed confession and repent your sins, but we know which way you're going. And I think that's kind of why when I think of like anything that they do in terms of service to the community or donations or any of this, like Make-A-Wish and Special Olympics are two very near and dear organizations to my heart. But anytime WWE works with them, I just think to myself, you're just using them. So I don't have any sense of respect or desire for WWE to reward or pay homage to Shad, because it would be wholly disingenuous.
No, absolutely, man. Like this, it sucks because obviously the perception is one thing, and then obviously a lot of times we know that certain aspects of reality. But you're right, and then I think again a lot of people like that's kind of effed up to say it. No, it is effed up, but it's even worse effed up that we have things to back up the statement.
It's effed up that it's happening. I'm not making something up. I'm not sitting there going, oh yeah, here's something I totally made up. I'm just telling you what's happening. So like if you're at home and you think to yourself, that's fucked up, why would you say that? Ask yourself, why would I say that? Am I being a dick for no reason? No, I'm a dick for plenty of reasons. But I have reasons. Maybe instead of thinking, hey, that might be, you shouldn't think that way, maybe you should ask why we think that way. Maybe do a little research. Maybe look at all the things Vince McMahon has done, and maybe you will agree with us. You don't have to, but maybe you could. I don't know. Me and Marcus are pretty smart dudes. Granted, I'm the dude who like slams his head in the concrete wall because Marcus says, "Hey, well, we got to get through this wall." So I'm like, "All right, I'm going to slam my head through it." And he goes, "No, I brought a backhoe. We were going to tear it down." I was like, "Oh no, that'll work easier."
Yeah, I'm very much Larry. He's very much he's very much robot man.
Yes, that is an apropos. Yes, you are very much Larry. Like, all right, we got to get through this wall, and I just punch through it, and Larry holds, and you hold up a key. Like, I had the key. Just shrug. Hey, I'm trying to be helpful here.
And it's like somebody ordered pizza. Like, yeah, like who ordered it with pineapples? Chad goes, the fuck.
No one who wants to be living in this house. Your hand, which is up but behind me, slowly descends back to your side of your body. Hey, listen, I can stomach a lot of things, man. Like, honestly. Racism, pedophilia, and pineapple on pizza. The three sins of humanity that cannot be forgiven.
You know nothing else. Know that.
Let me be clear. If you die a racist, that can't be forgiven. If you convert, that's fine. I forgive you. But if you die a racist, you die a pedophile, or you die liking pineapple on pizza, you cannot be forgiven on your deathbed. You are going to hell.
Chad doing the eulogy. Died from eating pineapple pizza. That makes sense.
I walk in, I'm like crying, like, he's my best friend. I don't even know he died yet. I've been so broken up. Well, how did he die, Mrs. Whatever your name is? He choked on his pizza. What kind was it? Pineapple? Bitch deserved to go. And I just walk out the door.
And he freaking walks out of the chapel doing the freaking Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 3 dance.
Fair. All right, we've been on for 3 hours. It's time to call it a night. So we might be back Tuesday, depending on what happens between now and then. If nothing really big happens, we're done for the week for Wrestling Underground. But we do still have a show tomorrow. GameCorp, we're reviewing. I don't remember. It's on my phone. tune in for that. It'll be fun. Twitch.tv/Comic and GameCorp. Then Thursday, also at Twitch.tv/Comic and GameCorp. Marcus, myself, and Zach Duncan are going to be reading the next set of issues for Why the Last Man and talking comic news and stuff. Marcus, you can be found on Twitter at ParadoxKid, ParadoxKid.
That's where I'll be.
You can also find him on his other podcast called The True Penny Show at Twitter at True Penny Show, TruePennyShow. You can find me on Twitter at Chad Nerdcorp, ChadNerdCorp, and on the Instagram at Chad's Photo at ChadsphotoHut. I never got past the third round in any spelling bee ever. Just being honest. Let's see what else we got. We got YouTube, and you can find both Comic and GameCorp and Wrestling Underground on YouTube by searching both those, Comic and GameCorp and Wrestling Underground. We're also on Twitch.tv/Wrestling Underground. We're on Podbean at realnerdcorp.podbean.com. If you want to download it to your mobile, if you want to download it to your computer, just go in, click the download button, or you can hit play and listen to it from the website. You can also download any shows that we've had to your mobile device through Podbean by downloading the Podbean app, signing up for it, and then it's a free account. You just need to have an account, so that way it tracks or whatever. I don't know why you need an account. I just think you do. Then you can download it to your mobile device and take us on the go wherever you want to go. And you're all set for that. Also, the website, realnerdcorp.com, RealNerdcorp.com. We have all of our podcasts, all of our rankings and news and whatever else we're fucking putting on there. We got like game rankings. If you want to know what we think about video games, you can do it on that and on the website. Go check that out, and then all kinds of good stuff. Did I miss anything?
No, pretty much covered it.
Falaba has a photo of himself on his Twitter account dressed as E Honda from Street Fighter. Not pertinent to anything, but I thought it would make you smile. I love it.
Got to see that.
He's a gem. All right, so for Marcus Green, I'm Chad Porto. This has been the Wrestling Underground. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for checking us out. Thanks for giving us a chance. Be sure to tell people how you feel while you still can. Watch more wrestling. And Marcus, take it home.
Stay inside.